Yeah, Cass was invited. So it's and then I got Sheldon in here for a hot second. I know it's late over there in Germantown. I just wanted to get started real quick before because post show. But everyone's here, right?
Understood.
Yeah, because time's for some reason I guess I lost track of time with like the announcement of the thing. So whatever. So this is the post show podcast, which it's supposed to say post show podcast. There it is, talking ish.
Okay. The title still says night 1. So
does it?
It said that all night. I noticed
it. It shouldn't. It should say night 2. It did on my end.
It does. I see it right now.
You posted it in the quotes. You said this is our WrestleMania night 2, but then after the dash it said Wrestlution 17 night 1.
Oh well, fuck me.
It says it right now. I just never refreshed.
Well then, fuck me.
It doesn't matter.
It's fine.
I don't give a shit about these casual nerds.
That's not nice at all. But okay. Anyway,
hold on. What's his name? Hold on. You hear me? Vic something? Yeah. You want to play with the big boys? Huh?
You want to play with All right. So everybody's here. Yes. Let me get the music playing. That's relaxing. So it's the post show podcast. Like we did last night, we're gonna try to keep it brief, get to the point. The show was actually, if you know, the show was super like fast paced, which I appreciated. It was kind of match after match, and it didn't really feel like it was 3 hours and 6 minutes. So we did actually yesterday was 3 hours and 16, and this is 3:06. So not bad, all things considered, with everybody putting together. So first things first, again, I want to thank everybody who participated, everybody who submitted content. Jake Allen for the intro, M for the documentary, Masse for his voiceover, Pew, and then everybody who submitted a match, who submitted a role play, who submitted a video, up and down the the angle of everybody. So that being said, let's do the introductions. First things first, the former tag team champion Maxx Edwards. Say hi.
Hello.
Okay. Former multi-time champion and future legend, unfortunately, Kassidy Hayes.
Hi.
Fucking bastard. And then also Jake Allen, the CCW and former CCW promotion, blah blah blah, future legend. Say hi.
Hello.
Nice and mellow. And last but not least, just joining us for a little bit, the new OCW World Heavyweight Champion Sheldon Tremblay.
Hello.
There you go. Love it. So before because I know you're not gonna be here for forever. So like, how do you feel that you're a champion? You're the youngest champion now in OCW. Who?
I still don't know what to say. I never joined with the intention that this would be going so fast like it did.
Jesus Christ.
It seems fast, right? But for other people who it seems fast, right? But for other people who have not joined, what was your official join date? Because it had to have been at this point like 2 years ago. Like you're saying, so soon, but like you've been here a while at this point.
I think in 2021.
I think it was shortly before 2021 because you were a surprise entrant, not really surprise, but you were an entrant in Rumble Grounds 2021, and I remember because that was your original Prodigy theme, and I'm like, this guy, like I like this guy a lot, and like so you had a little cameo there, and then like because people come in, Victor Matt actually mentioned in the chat, he's like, oh, where's the rookie championship? And I'm like, this motherfucker, like this dude's been here, he's hashtag put in the work. This is not like a 2-day thing, right? Like you earned this organically.
His join date is 6/15/2021.
Yeah. I had my first match on Turmoil 269 against Jordan Trance.
Nice.
That was the first match I had.
Nice.
I had
and now look at you.
2 matches against Jordan Trance were my first 2 matches.
Jesus Christ. So the funny thing is you are the youngest now, so congratulations on that. The other thing, shout out to Russ Cole. Russ Cole said, listen to me. I'm going to build new stars. Trust me. Don't talk to me. And I said, fuck your face. So here we are. That's how you do it. That's how you fucking do it. And fucking Cass too. Cass is also like, That's Cass speak. Yeah, so congratulations.
I did not want to hold Shelly back. We did have some things planned, and Russ said, do you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, we can pivot. Let me talk to Sheldon.
Just funny how things work out serendipitously for.
Yeah, things worked out differently because things were planned that should go a different way, but yeah, it worked out like this, and
Well,
yeah,
that's what
happy.
Jake said. Jake's basically said, what is it, 90%? What's the saying? Because I always get it confused because of dyslexia. 90% what happens, 10% how you react to it, 10% what, 90% what happens,
10%. Listen, Joe Deaver, it's
Damn.
10% what happens to you. 10% of what your OCW career is what happens, and 90% of it is how you react. And a fucking perfect example of all of that is your new OCW World Heavyweight Champion, Sheldon Tremblay.
That's fucking crazy.
It still feels so surreal.
Yeah, he's like, I'm crying. Like I was like, hey man, he's like, I'm crying in the chat.
Nobody could I know Rust has the whole thing where like nobody leaves happy, and generally speaking, all of us are very unhappy with the fact that you joined Castianity. You can go fuck yourself, Cass, but like that ending moment when you hit the third Hotel Berlin and the cover, and there's no one on the planet that could possibly find a way to boo you. So with that dynamic in place, I'm interested in what the summer is going to bring.
He's the only one in Castiani that won, so we could talk about that later on. But so let's kick things off.
He's the only one in Castianity we like.
All I will say is, Sheldon, close your DMs. I really like your work. I'd love to work with. No,
but that's kind of why I wanted to put in like the fact that he's been here a while at this point. Like I know the whole thing. Like he's the youngest champion. He is, his character's super young, whatever. But he knows at this point. So I don't think this is a situation where we have to be like, okay, this is gonna happen, and you gotta take care of it, because Sheldon is in the position for a reason. He's got this shit under control.
To be honest, at the moment, it's just people saying thank you and that they are proud and all of that, and
you deserve it.
I'm just like, man, I'm just a guy who likes to play a game.
Hell yeah, bro.
You deserve it, buddy. You earned that shit. That's what you do. It's a hard, and you earned it. It wasn't fucking like next week. It's not you showed up and then, oh, hey, here's a pay-per-view. No, you worked your way up and you got it. You won the match, and then you carried it from there.
Listening, Sheldon is the bar. If you're looking for a modern bar, rookies right now, it's this motherfucker right here.
Yeah, don't ask for an ambition belt, because that ain't happening. Go ahead.
Yeah. When I started, I just liked what I saw. Of course, I was a little afraid. We had that talk when I joined.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm scared to join. I don't speak English. And I'm like, bro, we got a guy who's Italian who doesn't even speak 3 words of English. And he was actually on the pay-per-view that year and the subsequent year. So yeah, it's fine. That's what I'm saying. We're international. The language barrier doesn't matter. But enough about you and your horseshit victory. Congratulations, by the way. It's time to talk about the actual show, because we have a lot to show and not a lot of time. So first things off, the Women's future investment was once again chaotic. I enjoyed it. So we were gonna do, because we got an extra person now, we're gonna do Snaky Snake. We're gonna do we'll do Cass, Maxx, Jake, then Sheldon. Go.
Well, hold on, Jay. I think we should spend another 5 to 10 minutes complimenting me and Dan on our great Wrestlution intros. I mean, I know we did it yesterday, but let's do it again.
Good job. Moving on. This conversation bores me. Move on. We got fucking 5 people in here, and it's not gonna be forever.
I know. I'm obviously.
Yes, you're first. You're first. Yes.
And I wasn't here last night, so I gotta say that the intro packages by Jake and Dan were excellently made.
Cunt.
Yeah. Good job, you two. Although some of the cards being all kings, kind of didn't love it.
I told him, and he said no, but it's fine.
Good job. All right, now for the women's F5. Fast-paced, action-packed, a little bit more chaotic than the men's when it comes to physics reactions, breaking up moves, and less of the ladder bridge actually ever breaking. Overall, enjoyed the match. The finish kind of took me out a little bit. That's about it.
Oh, why? Because Flojo?
Yeah, the wait. Just sit there, wait, and then grab it. I get it. It was a great strategy, but like,
well, that's the game, right? That's not that. That doesn't have a lot to do with what happened in the match. That's just the game will make that happen. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do much. It's just nice that the family won, so that's a good dynamic. Hanzo is 100% punching air. That's actually a happy accident. The fact that they're a tag team and they both won, that'll work.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Maxi.
I said it in Twitch chat, but the future investment has been paid in full.
You asshole.
It is a pretty wonderful coincidence. As for like the entrances from everybody, they all brought it. Especially we all saw Marissa with all the pyro, all the lasers, everything happening. As for the match, I wasn't the physics and the chaos. It definitely was more like, I guess, uncontrolled than the men's one. But the one thing I was more disappointed wasn't necessarily like the winner or like the ending. I was more disappointed just people going for the briefcase. Like no one else even touched it, which is something that you'd hope to see, that like there's more of an effort to do that. But with everybody in the ring, it also is pretty hard. So it's kind of whatever you can do more than what you want to do. Yeah, it was a pretty good opener.
Jakey Jake.
Yeah, comp is comp. Ashley did actually logistically pull down most of that case. Like there was only 2 opportunities to really grab the case. In the men's, I think there were more, to Max's point. Ashley pulled down most of it and then got tossed off. And then when Lotus Flojo got up there, it was basically done at that point. It's fun to go back in hindsight and look at it because just one moment, if like, and Gooch actually messaged me this, like, hey, if you didn't pick me up when I was on the middle of rolling out, you could have done what I did. And that pissed me off. So fuck you, Gooch. But Flojo's correct about that. Last year, I was not as super invested in winning it as I was just corralling the people that were in it. This year, obviously with Deborah, I was super invested in winning it. So I think that helped elevate it a little bit for me. I, at the time, felt a little bad when Flojo won, like when I was recording the match, because I'm like, with all the stories that are going on within this, Flojo's the only one who doesn't have a feud partner in the group of 6. So I felt like people would shit on it. And then obviously people just, like Cass said, some people just don't like Gooch and, that'll end up happening. So that was my initial fear. But then once night 1 happened, I realized how perfect Jay's card placement was, because seeing C-Note win, I'm like, okay, well, there's no way this goes south, because this is a perfect story. It's beautiful. You couldn't write it any better. And that's why OCW is great, because when organic shit happens like this, it's amazing. And based on the last year or so, we know Paid in Full is going to do some great stuff with this. So the entrances, I was a huge fan. I told all of them in the group chat, I'm like, none of you are touching this Deborah Soto entrance. And then for Marissa to bury me at the very end was I loved it. I really did. The lasers and all of it. I live for entrances and attires and shit for big events like this. That's part of the deal. So big fan of all that as well. Sorry, go ahead, Cass.
Oh no, I was just didn't want anything misunderstood. It had nothing to do with Flojo winning. I don't care who won. It's just how it ended was just, anticlimactic for me. That was all.
Sure.
Just
Gotcha.
the sit there and wait thing. Yeah. I'm not burying Flojo. I don't care about that.
I appreciate you stepping in to say that.
Fucking nihilist. Sheldon, thoughts? Wait, go ahead, Max. You have something?
I'm going to add the Steiner math.
Add Steiner math?
Logistically speaking, right? It was about a 3% chance for Paid in Full to win, to pull down both briefcases. That's pretty crazy.
Very small. Yeah. It's fucking crazy, honestly.
I'm happy to see. And then I already know what a couple things are happening. So even learning what's to come, I have like faith, which is nice. Very rarely do I have faith. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say very rare for you.
In honesty, Flojo has bbeen having great matches all season.
That is true.
Amazing. And I'm gonna pull back the curtain here. I said it in VP. Somebody's like, oh, if C-Note or if Flojo didn't have all these great matches, this moment with her winning wouldn't have felt as good. And I said, if she didn't have all those great matches leading up to Lucian, she wouldn't have even been in the match. And Jay, I hate to bring booking chat in here, but there was a hard line drawn in the initial selection process where we're like, we're not putting Flojo in it. We're not going to let another situation happen where somebody just walks into it without earning it. You're looking at all the other people in this match. They all have stuff going on. They're doing storylines. They're doing feuds and everything. Flojo's not involved in a feud, so there was a hard line drawn immediately. Like, we're not putting Flojo in this. And then just all of the personality and creativity and fun, and to Cass's point, the amazing matches that Flojo has been putting on TV up to this point, doesn't have a feud partner, but has been very entertaining, especially with the family and C-Note in particular. The duo of C-Note and Flojo has been a high point for me this season. And like, fuck that, like that earned her a spot into it. She ended up winning it. C-Note ended up winning it. Your 3% is even lower than your initial math says that it was, but I'm very happy that that's how it shook out.
Hanzo punching air. Sheldon, Tremblay, thoughts?
It was a chaotic but good match. Of course, I'm on the end on the side of chaos. It should be a little bit more organic, but other than that, was a good match.
Good. So also shout out to Riot for the future investment package.
That shout out to Flojo.
Yes, that was
She
Riot.
got something over that's very stupid, and that's just writing on her little cloak.
Yeah,
and that's
Go ahead, Jake. What was that? Did someone get disconnected or what the fuck happened? Oh, never mind. Jake, you there? I don't know. I think
I guess Jake, continue.
Okay, I don't know what just happened, but yeah. No. So shout out to Riot for that. You all right now, Jake? You good? Okay. Anyway, he might.
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, your internet died.
So no, it wasn't my internet. My mixer died. Anyway, I just wanted to shout out Cass because when we were dealing with this, we did not realize, like, we were like, you don't want to pull down a case that says the Money in the Bank on it. Nobody's brought it up to this point. Cass making the men's and women's future investment briefcases to add that extra layer of aesthetic, that extra layer of realism and immersion. Nobody shouted him out. I'm going to do it right now. Those cases look awesome, and it made our lives so much easier in the production process. So thank you, Cass.
He did it last year. That's why I didn't shout him out, because I shouted him out last year. But thanks,
Well,
Cass.
I'm shouting him out now, boss.
And thanks,
2 years
Riot.
ago, because
Thanks.
no one used it last year.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Also shout out to Cheyenne. Cheyenne was the fucking MVP of the women's match. Fucking every which way someone was getting Kojima or Lariat, like every
Just
5
lariats
minutes. It was
everywhere.
so amazing. Oh, that was so much fucking fun. It doesn't matter how big you are, everyone gets a fucking Lariat. Kojima, I wish that could be Lariat. Fucking, I gotta be a new macro. So yes, Max, we have the docket for the next video packages. There's not that many. It's like 20. It's like 22 total. But what's the next one?
Next video is the first of Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. Okay. So quick note about Mass Effect. Mass Effect. Stop assault. Like I like the fact that we have Devin on the pay-per-view. I don't like the fact that fucking stop beating up on staff. Stop it. Just it's dumb. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't. I would prefer you spit on staff or shove them out the way instead of just stop. Like it doesn't like get it doesn't get a good reaction. It's like a fucking resurrection spell reaction. Nobody cares. Stop it. So just stop doing that. Go ahead, Sheldon.
It's a bit too much. Like, it was fun the first, second, maybe third time around, but now it's
hack.
It's good to get a heal reaction with it, but if you do it too much, it just loses its power.
You can't anymore. It's pointless. But I like the fact that the rookie Devin was there, and there's a part 2 to it, but it didn't make the stream. It'll be available on the web show. It should actually be available now, so you can check that one out. Don't forget the same thing with the the Samuel Owen spot. Anything else to add about this, or can we move on to the next one?
Diminishing returns.
What happened? What?
Ooh, yeah. I actually want elaboration on that.
I just said diminishing returns about beating up people.
Oh yeah, that's what Sheldon said exactly.
Oh yeah. In general, yes. I mean, I laughed at it because Jay, being like the boss, the CEO or whatever, him always complaining about staff or extras getting beat up makes me pop every time, because that's how he would react if he was the businessman that he is. But yes, I don't think there's been diminishing returns on this yet, but there is absolutely will be diminishing returns. I mean, there's a number of stories over the years that have had this problem, so just mix it up. Just mix it up. Yeah, but this was fun. I mean, it's Lution, so let's just have fun, right?
For the most part. Okay, so moving on, we have if it's the Kobe Owen hype package. Yes. Okay. Let's keep this one freeform so we can just kind of because we have a lot of stuff to cover. I mean, it was well done, but the problem is the guy's not dead. So and then when it had the whole thing, I was like, oh man.
Oh yeah.
Postmortem.
The rest in
Postmortem.
peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had
Like
time
having
to
it-
just edit it and be like, I'm alive, bitch. Like Mortal Kombat, just have a cutout of him show up with a thumbs up. I don't fucking know. But yeah.
Oh no,
well,
I
go
think a
ahead.
lot of the sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Oh yeah, I think a lot. You said open forum, so I'm breaking out. The a lot of the stuff that we compliment for being super organic in OCW, sometimes that can backfire because we don't all talk, we don't all know what's going on, and clearly that was the case for Owen. He had no idea that Aries had planned to come back. That said, I was super invested in this because of the effort and the emotion and so much that was put into it beforehand. I honestly, after watching that hype package, don't think that, let me see how I can put this. I don't think as much was lost as I expected there to be lost when I watched last night, if that makes sense. So this is one of my top 3 matches like that I've been anticipating. It's one of the best builds Lucian has had. It's been amazing. Owen has been off TV, has not been wrestling or anything. So like whether that's intentional or not, that was like a side piece to it. The drama and the build to this, they told it perfectly based on the story they were telling in their own bubble. There's plot issues, obviously, with what happened the night before, but I don't think it took away from the drama in the match. I mentioned it on commentary, right, Jay? I said, like, despite what happened last night, these two still have plenty of beef. These two still have plenty of reason to hate each other. That hype package was the second best of the night, and I have to give the one that was the best later, but fuck me, this fulfilled all the dreams that I thought it would, even despite what happened last night.
Anybody else want to chime in?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I mostly agree with Jake. The high package was like so well done and such a great use of their like the way they decided to tell their story with all the voicing. They didn't go for like the music. You know, it helps it really easy to stand out. And I think these two characters are a good example of like organically just presenting yourself as a top level performer, and it kind of being the case because they didn't have like the years of experience or history to go with it, but they were so able to like pitch the feud and make it seem like a big deal so that we all could get invested into it. I thought that was really well done.
Sheldon, you have anything to add?
I liked how each party used the weaknesses of each other in their promos. With the Aries stuff, with Steven using my name to I'm missing the word.
Basically a catalyst.
Yeah, to catalyst for Owen why he is like he is now, like that he misses Sanctum and all of that. I liked how Steven used it against him.
Agreed.
Cass, anything?
He's gone. He's tapped out. He talked about Sheldon, and now he's done with the pay-per-view.
No, I haven't done that.
Okay. Yeah,
My mic is muted.
Gotcha. I love when that happens. So the match itself, this one we could do round robin. We'll do Sheldon, Jake, Maxx, then Cass. Go. If you don't want to add something, you can. The match.
He's talking about
the match.
The match. We were talking about the hype package before. He's talking about the match now.
The match was fine. I got nothing bad to add.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's not your native language, so you don't. We're not pressing you. Don't worry about it. Who's
Nick
next?
is next.
Go ahead.
Oh yes, yeah. The match did everything it was supposed to do. There's been a lot of times, not just on this show, but since 2K23 came out with the new system, from a meta sense, the whole kicking out of finishers at 0 every single time is kind of lame, but that's how I feel. And for this match, they brutalized each other inside and outside the ring throughout the duration of the match. And for it to end in that spectacular way where Owen hits the GTS, that's Aries' finishing move historically, immediately picks him up, hits the power bomb. You couldn't have wrote a better finish to that if you wanted Owen to be the winner of this match. I didn't, but golly, to the point that was made before, I think Maxx said it, like presenting yourself as a big time player, even if you're not on TV every week. Owen right now is fucking top notch.
I'm next. Honestly, I think something I wanted to say yesterday, but I didn't like think of, and something I kind of got reinforced today is like the straight match quality tonight was like so like head and shoulders above what I think happened yesterday, and that's saying like a lot. I think yesterday's matches kind of tended to like a more, I guess, like American kind of style match type. Today was straight like Japanese, and it was just like very well thought out like sequences that happened. And I think this match was a good example where, you know, it didn't go super long, but it felt like everything was kind of important, and it really all told like a really nice story. And I think a lot of the matches tonight followed that same trajectory.
And Cass. I don't think he's got anything, boss. Let's move on.
No, when something's not working. There's obviously an invisible wall there. Don't stand there looking at each other.
That's fair. Jay?
Yeah, I think it went on. I think it went on a little long. I don't know. I think Jay may have passed out, but I think it went on just a tad too long with them trying to figure out what that barricade is. But I'm not going to take any points away for them not knowing that. Like, I obviously knew it because of the previous future investment matches I was involved in or whatever. But if you have never ran into that, it's really hard to know what's happening at the time. You think something's broken or whatever. So they did really try and push through for a couple more seconds than they could have. But I'm not going to take any points away from the match for that. So. Jay is apparently dead, so I'll take
I'm
over
not
from
dead.
here.
I went to go grab a
he's
fucking
here.
beer. If we move on to the next match, everyone spoke, or is Cass still left?
We're done. Yeah.
good.
That was filler while you were gone. Let's move on.
Oh, okay, cool. So what's the next one, Max?
The next one is Mass Effect Part 2, but that was kind of a web exclusive. So.
Okay, Max. Okay, so you'll have to watch that. Long story short, Gas. So be sure to watch that. It was funny, but I don't know if it was fit for Lucian. It was a little long, so yeah.
That's fine.
Match.
We all have the opportunity to watch it after.
Yeah. But yeah, make sure you do watch it because it is a segment. It's I don't know.
Yeah,
I would have found it funny maybe 7 years ago, but I'm old now, so it might just be me. So what's the next one after that?
After that is ISU versus Chris Green.
ISU versus Chris Green. Didn't have a hype package. This one I think couldn't really have one. I mean, if you wanted to, you could, but the fact that it didn't like offend me. I'm like, I get it. This is more of like a Lockhorn challenge. Like if you wanted to get deep, you could probably show Chris Green's, a couple of I don't know. Like it's like a weird like.
Well,
thing
it
you'd be
literally
placed
is,
in.
right? Like that's
Yes.
the story,
Yeah,
right?
it's basically
When
like
he
a
came
Lockhorn
out,
challenge.
He said
it.
it's a Lucian Lockhorn challenge. So technically speaking, this was a Lockhorn challenge for Lucian, the first ever. So you're right in that assessment, Jay.
That's what I should have fucking coined it instead of whatever. But I guess I'm old and dumb. So we will do this time around. We'll do Cass, then Jake, then Max, then Sheldon. If you have anything to add, go. I'm gonna try to grab my fucking beer now.
They did a lot of writing. They also did have their video segment spots in other feuds as well, like when Asu threw Chris and off the ramp and onto the table. Match. No, Asu did it too.
Oh man, Chris Green has been going through it then in this build.
Indeed.
Takes after his papa.
I of course went broke betting on Chris. It was a good match, but Asu had his number, and fucking I say that's a loaded helmet that he's wearing, and it's cheating, and Chris should have another shot.
I'm next. I will say that this had always been penciled in as my sleeper of Lucian weekend. I'm glad that it was put on night 2. We'll talk about Jay's card placement later, but it's so great just based on what happened. The fact that he's like, here are the 16 matches in order 1 through 16, and this is how we're calling them, and we didn't have to make a single adjustment. There's been times in the past where we've called things and we're like, we have to edit this line out, or we have to do this or that so that the commentary makes sense. It hasn't happened in a while. Like I would say since Summerside 2022, like since the Clash last year, we have been fucking nailing it. I say we because I'm taking credit for all of Jay's hard work, which was something I want to do. But Jay killed it here, and I thought this was going to be a great sleeper match. It was a Lucian Lockhorn challenge. This was a great example of how to tell a decent story leading up to a pay-per-view like this through mostly text. I know you mentioned, Cass, that there were a couple of video segments, but I don't think it's like breaking the mold to tell you that this wasn't one of the more glamorous or well-built feuds. But luckily, the two people involved are very good at putting on a great match, and they did just that. The opener, just with him immediately locking Chris Green in an armbar, was awesome. And then leading it up to the end with the tap out was great. We only had 2 titles change hands in the entire weekend.
Crazy.
I thought Chris Green may be a possible contender to do that. He didn't. That's fine. I think it served both people very well, and I'm excited for the summer, especially if we get more Lockhorn challenges.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I did not know we only had 2. I would have put down the over/under, but I would have bet the over.
Yeah. Tag and OCW. Somebody said it, like, is it 1 point? It was you, right? You said, like, what's the thing? Is it 1.5? And me knowing, I'm like, 1.5, I'm taking the over for the whole weekend.
Yeah. As for the match, I thought start off with the entrance. The entrance was amazing from both people, but mainly from ISU with the treasure chest opening up. Very good. I think we've gone past the point of like just using emotion. I feel like so many of these loose entrances were like just creatively thought out. You know what I mean? Whether it's like having the dual kind of like podium coming down or just all sorts of things. Really well thought out. Love to see that. After the match, I think the in-ring, the psychology was really good. It seemed like they both were like their characters. They both were playing to their own strengths, trying to control it, and it kind of guided the action into the finish where ISU got the reversal right into it. It was very well done. I really enjoyed it. And I don't think this was a sleeper because I think people were expecting this to be that work rate match. So I think it delivered on all expectations.
Sheldon.
Yeah, for me it was not only sleeper. This was definitely one of my favorites. I liked how ISU played his role as the veteran. Green is still somehow this underdog, like the role he always played, but a little more on the Cassidy side. And yeah, Jay as a person is a very good RPer, good player of the match, and yeah, got nothing bad to say.
Good. Like the question just came up on Discord, like how do I rate this Lucian? Like I said, I think it's tied with 15 because there was more not ups. It was more like waffle stomps on this one, but the counterbalance of the waffle stomps kind of made it. Whereas Lucian was more fight. That being said, it's gonna be interesting to see the Cassidy post Lucian landscape now that the Prodigy is a champion and Chris Green once again fucking shit the bed. That'll be a fun little dynamic. I'm looking forward to that shit. Match itself, I really enjoyed it. I actually kind of thought at first, I'm like, oh, Chris got this, and I was like, yeah, that ain't happening. Good shit either way. Entrance was fucking dope. The entrances for this event have been incredibly above average, I guess is the word I want to look for. So it's really good to fucking see what's going on with the community. So what's the next one, Maxie?
It is our man, Tiberius P.
Yes. Now that's a fucking pop. That's a fucking,
oh yeah,
that's a fucking pop.
That?
That's a pop.
We were 25 deep in VP tonight, and my God, the minute the dragon played, there was like 4 or 5 of us who were like but the rest of them who didn't have the history didn't really know. And then once the name came up, the rest of them were like
I know who that is. I know that name. That's a fucking pop. That's a legend pop. So fucking yeah, it's good. It's good to see thick maple come back. I always love
so thick.
Yeah, I always love fucking TB. I don't have really. What do we got? Anyone want to add anything about TB?
Yeah,
coming
no.
back?
I mean, just the whole thing. Like, obviously, when he first showed up, we didn't realize what kind of impact he would make on the story. Empress has gone out of her way to shit on him every single step of the way during her GM ship.
Yeah.
So I honestly, and again, to pull back the curtain, we reached out and we're like, hey, this Tara segment where she is reinstated, we want Dupree to do it. We want you to come out and be like, hey, you've been talking all this good shit about me, and here's my decision. But he had this in mind, or maybe something in the future. So he said, actually, no, like, let's do it this way. Let's have Jay come out. That way Jay gets a little burn, and he can mention, like, there's somebody I talked to that I hold deep respect for. And there was a lot of people in chat that predicted that would be the case, but it was fun to be able to see the results of something where we wanted to go short term, and then we said, no, let's make it long term. And it actually ended up being worth it. So just more cathartic stuff, honestly. And then obviously everybody loves Tibby being back. What capacity that means, we don't know. But anytime that juiced motherfucker walks through the apron, or the curtain, I'm gonna cheer for.
As long as he doesn't put on his boots, because that's what the match Drago wants badly, and he's stalk the way that Nate stalks Tibby, Drago stalks the way that fucking Nate stalks Tibby is the way that fucking Drago also stalks Tibby. So if he puts those boots on, he's gonna be like, "Hi, Bubba, let's fight," and he's like, "No, I don't want to fight." So anyway, it's funny to watch. In fucking various chats. Anybody have anything to add about our friend TB Dupree?
Yeah.
Fat.
Damn.
He's fat. He's fat.
We don't know if it's muscle or if it's fat.
Probably muscle.
Or both.
It could be both. It could be flabby, but like still built.
Well, the funny thing is, when he first came to OCW, he was basically thick Lance Storm. So he was like a short, stocky fellow with fucking massive arms, and then he slowly became the betterness. So he could be going back to his old thick style.
What happened is everyone else in OCW shrunk.
Yeah. Asshole.
And now he's like tall.
Low. Okay. What's the next segment?
All right, hold up.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
was like, I wish. I think, even though logistically it might not have worked out like lengthwise, I wish this kind of ended up playing after, I guess, the Terra versus M match. I would have, even though it was kind of weird though, because then they gave the honor to Drago to like relieve Emp of her duties, right? I don't know. I think there was an opportunity there to like have whether Drago still does what he does and then brings out Tiberius Dupree, and then it's like the double triple pop, but then like that video goes long. So I don't know. I think there could have been something different other than having this like before in like the middle of the show. But that's just me.
That's an interesting point. The thing is, I guess, as the saying goes, let it play out. Anyway, sorry, but Big Dream. Anybody else want to add anything? Moving right along. What's the next one? Maxie.
Doc H2O.
Doc H2O. Okay, the package itself. The package itself, fucking A tier. I hate people using the music video just because of the way Twitch is, but either way, the actual video itself, the substance of the video, that might be my video of the night. Just the story that it told and how entertaining the story was, and the fact that we just like the past like maybe year and a half, the music in OCW has been very, very fucking similar. If it's not Star Set, it's Bring Me the Horizon. If not Bring Me the Horizon, it's Star Set. If it's not either of those, it's a band that sounds eerily similar. Whatever. Or if it's not that, it's something from the fucking 80s because of Maxx. But yeah. No,
Or John Carter.
Yeah, or John Carter. I hate saying his name. So the actual video display, it's the fact that there's so much footage available now in the YouTube era from OCW is also just like nice to see. So that and the match, speaking of the match itself, I guess we can do both now so we can try to like wrap it up. Not wrap it up, but move it faster. The match itself was incredibly, very much one-sided and comp is comp. And the funny part about this is, to take Jake Allen's words, peeling back the curtain, if this was a younger like Doc or Doc Green, whatever, or the twin or whatever, and the roles were reversed, he'd be like, hey man, let's fight again. This is a mature Doc. These are mature handlers, and if you get your ass whooped, it doesn't matter if it's Wrestlution. That's what happens. You got your ass beat. You got to do what you got to do. It's all good. So yeah, it was a fucking ass whooping of magnetic proportions or magnanimous proportions. And then what made it even better, and I'll talk about this after everybody, was what happened afterwards because of what plays into some stuff, and that I'm sure Maxx picked up on. So we'll do in order. We'll do Cass, Sheldon, Maxx, then Jake. Go.
Yeah, the hype package was good. I enjoyed it. Both entrances were great. Heather, Fury, Osa coming back, standing with Doc, which now I'm not too sure where she stands within Cassidy now. Yeah, Doc took it to Doc, and that was GG, my boy. Definitely had tried to make some comeback. They also fell into that glitch spot right on the ramp and did one too many Irish whips in the wrong direction to figure it out. But yeah, enjoyable.
It was an enjoyable ass whipping. Next.
I didn't even know that there was a glitch to begin with.
Oh.
I just saw that today. Like, I didn't know.
Anything else to add, Sheldon?
No.
Moving right along. Hey, I appreciate it. It's all good.
He is not a verbose world champion, but he is the fucking world champion.
Yeah, it's okay.
But seriously, what's the motto? It's 2 seasoned handlers, 2 people who know what they are doing. So, yeah.
Good fucking save, Sheldon. Next.
Doc got punched in the balls by me and then really ramped up this season.
I took that personally, bruv. Maxx is next, right? Yeah, go ahead, Maxx.
As for the glitch, I heard of it, but obviously I don't know why. We only saw it play out really in
twice.
night 2.
Yeah,
it's kind of just unfortunate the way that works, and it's just more in the mind. As for the hype package, I wouldn't say it's my favorite hype package of the night, but it was a really good hype package. And as for like the sound, I think OCWFED going through eras, right? Because I think it was, I don't know if it was last season before that. But those season we had we were really like 2000s rock. We were really like a ruthless aggression era. And now we've kind of moved into like a more modern rock standpoint. I don't know. It's just like flavor of the month, all of that. As for the match, the match, Harvey, it was uncharacteristically not a Harvey performance.
Oh, it
Some
was.
days you just don't show up. You don't show up to the ballroom. You forget your shoes at home, and whether it's like Doc wanted it more, or it's just like Harvey couldn't get his drive on, which I feel like this match is what could have happened in the main event. If like the light doesn't switch for like Rust in the middle of that match, because it was looking pretty similar. As for the post match stuff, I'm completely like just floored.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he wants to save that for after.
We gotta save that to after. That's not gonna deserve.
Then I'll leave it right there.
Okay. Before Jake, also my only complaint on the actual match itself was the Eldon Kang was 1 minute 60 seconds too fucking long. But other than that, I liked it a lot. I was like, oh, okay, and then it just kept going and goes like, oh fuck, whatever. I'm picky. I'm a producer, baby. That's why. Jake, you're up.
Am I?
Yeah, we did everybody. Yeah. You're up. Yeah.
Great. I did not think this match needed Hell in a Cell, and I know we talked about it in the VP, and honestly, we've talked about it a lot in booking chat and everything, and just in general discourse. The fact that this Lucian was so restrained on big stip matches or this or that. We had stip matches, but they were more drenched in story than they were like, we're doing this so that we can use weapons. We're doing this so Quartz and Horse was a great example. Like we talked about it. We're like, hey, do we want to do an Achendi Tables match? Do we want to do an Extreme Rules? And both of us looked at it and we're like, no, I don't think we have to. Really, like we have what we need to do to make this over. And I think the state that the roster is in, that all of them were so comfortable in their build, in their performance, in their execution, to not need this extra bullshit was so great. So back to the one that decided to use that. I don't think it needed it, but it was a nice mix-up just because of how the roster. Yeah, just because of how the roster is went all singles and all normal steps. For them to be the one spot on the card that used the big step was fine. It worked out. They didn't really use the cage, but I'm also a big complainer whenever you do Hell in a Cell matches that everybody does the same 3 things: fight for a little bit, break out of the cage, climb up, throw them through it, throw them through the table.
Not
whatever.
today.
They didn't do that, and honestly, they didn't do that in Hito versus Blacksmith, and that's why I liked it too.
Yeah,
the stip was not a factor here. Doc beat the fucking shit out of H2O from pillar to post. It was entertaining, even if it wasn't competitive. And I was happy to be a part of it, and we'll get to the end scene afterwards. So the build. I have to shout out the build too, and I didn't mention the hype package. All of the footage that is available to us, I mentioned it more in the Drago Nate package, but this was another good example too, because they had a lot of history here. Fuck, it was so well done. Yeah. Cinema, the Kang entrance is probably the best of night 2, if I have to spoil that, but golly, they all understood.
I'd say so. Yeah, I think it's tied up with that and fucking Cyberhan 2077. To be honest, I don't know. That's a debate. That's a debate for our time.
And I planned on I planned on asking after we were done here, but
should probably do a survey for that during the week.
Surely didn't help against Sheldon.
What happened? Cyber? Oh, so fuck you. So the end scene. So here's what I enjoyed about.
Respond to Jake?
Go ahead.
About the step, I thought it was kind of like the copy or like the foil to Terra versus Emp, where it was like
Banned from
Tog was banned from
ringside.
ringside. Yeah, I thought
yeah.
it made sense enough. And again, I would agree that them not like forcing the breakthrough and all that helped for the match, even though they kind of did have like the big fight that got interrupted. I had something else to say.
Can you remember it?
Well, I agree. While you're thinking about it, I do agree with you. I mentioned this to Jay in the booth, and I'm just, I'm so, my endorphins are so high right now. I forgot about it, but you are absolutely right. A lot of times these cage matches, these Hell in a Cell matches are at the purpose of saying, let's keep all these other factors out. And usually what happens in wrestling is it doesn't. Like they show up anyway. And so for this to be like, no member of Christianity, no Antonio Everett, no pillars, like nobody's coming to save you. And like that actually ended up being the case. So in that case, it is pretty fulfilling to see that happen. So I do agree with you. I'm glad you brought that up, Max. Thank you.
I remember now.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think for one, it was because of what you just said right there, Jake, it was like some great comeuppance for Hell, as he was literally, there's nowhere to run, nowhere he could have gone, no hope. He just had to accept the ass beating. And as for like stiffs in general, I think like the storytelling for this solution, I think even when you compare it to like 15, where there were quite a few more stiffs, it was just a pure like blood feud kind of Lucian, where it was all just like people putting their head down and then working for the Lucian. That's why Jay had so many like tough decisions to make when choosing like what match goes on, what match goes off.
Oh,
there was just everybody that was like trying to get on it, and it was, I think that set it apart from other Lucians.
You don't even know who.
Yeah.
Before it used to just be.
Cass
knows.
Jay can definitely speak to
Cass
that.
remembers the fucking participation evolutions. He remembers. Fucking night one was basically, what was it called? It was night one was a pre-show, and it was just dog shit on top of dog shit. Me sitting on stream, just watching and having Court talk about cars, and just like I want to fucking swallow lead. But now we're no longer there anymore. We're in a better place. So that being said, we're going to a happy place. The ending. So
are you sure this is a happy place?
You know what? It's happy for me. Just because I get to fucking shout the Motion Boys. Fucking hoot, like, it looks like it's gonna get dirty. And this is another thing I appreciate. I've noticed that a lot more handlers now are handling nuance, like little tiny things. One of them was Emp's, her hair was the same except it was down, so the color was the same. Yep. Small details that most people don't pay attention to because they're fucking lazy, or maybe just dumb. I don't know, or maybe just don't know. All three outs for you. But this one was also impressive. Like, Doc just didn't disappear. Doc was like, well, that's my cue. I'm out. Peace the fuck out. And then we had ourselves a 2-on-2. And then fucking the sidekick gets kicked in the face, which made me happy. And then Cass gets kicked in the face, which makes me doubly happy. And then the Motion Boys. Now here's the part that Max will pick up on. You have the Ocean Boys teaming up together, it looks like, yes. Both taking huge upsets on two different nights, both being related. Harvey's music that plays. No more face paint. You had Code Red Harvey choke. Code Red used to always choke. Actually, was it Code Red or was it which was the one that I used to make fun of for choking? I think it was Code Red. Either way, Harvey choked as Harvey used to do in the past. The mask went away, and now we got the Motion Boys. And we have the Motion Boys, and we also have H2O's back, and then we also have EG2 Quartz. So all I gotta say is, matter of fact, I'll put it out. I'll put it into the ether. If they're not called the Perfect Storm. Or actually, no. What's it Perfect Storm? I think it's Perfect Storm. If they're not called the Perfect Storm, then what the fuck are we doing here? That's all I got to say about that.
He can't even believe in his own future booking.
Well, I've been drinking. Now? It was fucking.
Oh wait, is that what I said? I don't know.
Fuck you. I'll look it up to pull up the receipt. So we'll do.
You're right. That's what you said after we finished.
I like the Motion Boys, but obviously that's not going. Yeah, no one else likes it, so whatever. So we'll do.
That's dumb.
Fuck you. We'll do Cass, then we'll do Sheldon, Cass, Max, and then Jake because he's in the segment. Go. You're first, Sheldon.
Sheldon.
Man, I always feel like I can't add too much to all.
If you don't want to, then just pass or just say a thing. It's okay. Don't be nervous. It's all good.
I knew that something was happening. That what happened caught me by surprise. I hope that now Diva is on his own again. I hope he. I hope he does something with the star rope he got from Quartz. But yeah, was a nice segment.
Well, you don't want the fucking new Storm Risings. You don't want that. Cass, go ahead.
All right. Another Lucian and another motherfucker has to hit me, and that's rude. I am
Hate it
just
when that
trying to
happens.
be a loving family member to Cassianity, and these motherfuckers keep hitting me in the face.
1 year back to back. First year you get a hug, second you get kicked in the face.
Yeah. So Harvey kind of brought this to me a little while ago. No one else in Cassianity knew. So I knew this was happening, and I didn't want to turn on Harvey. And this kind of got substituted in. It's like, oh, how about Quartz and Harvey both turn on the people they're currently with? And I'm like, that works a lot better. I like the way it planned out. I didn't see it beforehand. I didn't even know if it was really happening or not, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's fitting. These two motherfuckers now. Quartz definitely won't ever join Cassian because he's a loser, and it's really fucking rude.
You can go full WWE.
I'm drawing a line in the sand, my friend.
Oh my
But
god.
I got Shelly, I got Chris. These new stars gonna keep coming out of Cassianity, and that's Deaver. You're not welcome. Stay away. don't try and cry on my shoulder about Quartz. I don't care. That's it.
I popped so huge when fucking Deaver got kicked in his titty because Quartz can't lift it. That's the thing. Quartz is a big.
He can't get his
Quartz
leg
is a
up
big
there.
dude, so he can only kick to your titty. Fucking Claudio's like 6'7" and can fucking kick over people's head. I hate it. But
Hey, we're not all the same amount of flexibility, Jay.
yeah, he is a fucking stripper. He's a stripper from fucking.
He's an
Sandals.
athlete.
Yeah, so fucking kicking the side, kicking his titty was the greatest I've ever fucking seen. And then Harvey's like, I kick him in the face. Well, go ahead, Max. Fucking feel good moment of the year.
To talk on your point about continuity, Jay, I remember the time when we'd have someone show up
Oh, here we
at the
go.
beginning of the show in one attire, and then they show up completely different hairstyle, different attire, everything. And they'd be like, "Yeah, man, I just changed, dog. I changed in the bag."
Different
So
night.
what is he?
Different night.
Don't worry. I got you, Cass. Don't worry. Let him go.
To see the continuity, it was good. As for what happened, I'm so torn, not on like why, but like where are we going from
Oh
this?
boy.
And how do I feel about this? 'Cause I don't know how I feel, right? I'm looking at this and I'm like, on one hand, right, Quartz, fuck that guy, right? Pretty clear. That's I'm good with saying that. Even though Deaver's not
No, that's
Deaver's
pretty
not,
obvious.
Deaver's not the coolest guy in the world, but like he didn't deserve all that.
Oh, he did. He definitely did.
And then,
No.
then I see Harvey, and I'm like, Harvey,
Fuck
he's been
that guy.
kind of slowly, no, because he's been slowly like tearing away from Cassianity, and not only has he been tearing away, he's been like trying to take Heather with him. I'm like, that's very nice. I like to see that. So he gets Cass, and I'm like, you know what, Cass probably deserved that, yeah. But then I'm like, okay, so how do I feel about them now? How do I feel about Demotion Boys, which I'm okay with the name. How do I feel about them? I don't know. Because then, while I do hate Cass, at the same time, now Cass has what? Shelly and Chris? That's pretty. That could be a wholesome, trinity. It's not as terrible as when Harvey was in there. Harvey kind of took a lot of the turn
That's
off
true.
when he left.
That's true.
So I can almost get behind them more. So I really don't know how to feel. I don't know what they're gonna go from here. I just gotta wait and see.
Oh my god.
Hearing the trash talk about Harvey almost makes me feel sad for him.
Oh, don't feel sad. Don't feel sad for him. If anyone could take the trash talk, it's him. My favorite thing of the evening is pre match. Fucking show about post match. Oh man, he's the greatest guy ever. I don't know what the fuck you guys talking about. That shit had me fucking dying. Fucking Jake. Oh, pro, 100%. That was fucking no. Like I think so.
Character,
Yes.
100% of the time.
Someone was like, oh shit, fuck it, future idiots are in trouble, but that might not even be the case. It's two brothers who oh man, I can't wait. Jake, talk about it because I can't. We got to move on. Go ahead, talk about it. Get excited.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So first and foremost, the continuity felt reasonable to me. I had no idea what Cass was going to look like in his match. So by default, because of the unbelievable, like, I can't tell you the amount of effort that it took for Doc and I to keep this as much under wraps as we could with all the people that were involved. As far as I know, Doc told Cass, he was like, okay, like, I'm going to kick ya, but like, I'm not going to tell you anything else is going to happen. And that's what I told Deaver as well. I'm like, hey, Deaver, we're going to run out at Lucian. I'm going to kick you in the face. And that's really it. So like, he knew what he needed to know. But so when I was putting the segment together, I immediately was like, I didn't want to do Cass wrong or anything like that. But thanks to Jay, and I saw the card that Men's Future Investment was on night 1 and that the Doc H2O match was on night 2. It's so realistic, reasonable. It's totally fine. He like has his whole crazy thing on night 1. Night 2, he's back in his normal thing. The temporary hair dye is gone, like all that stuff. I didn't think that was any problem at all. And turns out, based on the situation, it wasn't. All of it made sense, right? And that's what makes me like have just all of the juice, right? All of the stuff that led up to it. Doc being a pillar after what happened at last year's Lucian with Quartz and Doc, and like what happened on the show after Lucian 16 happened, with all 4 pillars being friends again, the Allied powers reunited. So it made perfect sense for Quartz to be the one to come out to stop this 2-on-1 beatdown against his friend Doc. Deaver was an accident. Wasn't supposed to. Wasn't, because this has been going for 6 fucking years, and eventually, this was one of the avenues we could take. So for Deaver to be a part of the story was just a fun kind of side note, and I'm like, hey, this is a great opportunity. You know, I believe in Deaver. I do. I wouldn't have associated myself on TV with him if I didn't, despite some of the just. Oh my God, just the absolute dumbest decisions you could make posting in Discord and posting publicly. For fuck's sake, man. Golly. Go ahead, Sheldon.
I still hope that Diva, I believe in him, to be honest. Because
I do.
I think he has the stuff to be big. When he has his little rough thingies going around with the... But I think if he really kicks himself in the ass, he can.
I agree.
Be a good worker.
I agree, and I feel that way for a lot of it. And for Deaver specifically, I think it's more of a situation of like he's so young, like in real life and as a character, like that he's just had so much of this ignorance and stupidity bashed into his head based on the area he lives in that he doesn't know. Right? I don't think he's a bad dude. I just think he's had so much ignorant shit bashed into his head that he needs to kind of get away from. But that's his burden to carry from now on, and it is absolutely why I'm like, I want Deaver to succeed. I like him as a guy. I do. Even if publicly he's making an ass of himself. And that Jay, to your point, like when Quartz super kicks him, you're like popping out of your mind. That really shouldn't be the idea, but I understand why it is. And I think this gives Deaver a great opportunity to try and adjust like all younger OCW people do and move on. Anyway, so 5 years in the works, 5+ years in the works, obviously. Fuck me. This was an unbelievable circumstance to fall into my lap with him and Cassidy and me with Deaver and the head wraps. I know a lot of people got it. A lot of people got it immediately. The fact that it's covering up the eye that dictates which personality is in control. A lot of people immediately picked up on that and understood what was going to happen. But I think the fact that after Horse beat him on night 1 and no reveal or no big thing happened, that really lulled him into a false sense of security. So I have listened to Jay's commentary on this so many times. Because the whole thing of like, wait, what? And then just him just fumbling over his words as the super kicks happen and all that was tremendous. Like, such a fan of that. Harvey is a great dude. He's always been a great dude. He's my best friend in the entire world. And we are taking over OCW going forward. So Future idiots. I'm glad that John finished his story, but I got news for you, pal.
There's a new book.
Your story is gonna come to an end a lot sooner than you think it is because Unity happened and H2O and a Jitu Quartz. That's right. And it was a very specific creative decision to not use Bury the Light and the end part.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know about that creative liberty. I kind of was like, oh, okay, well, all right, whatever. Trying to save that. You're trying to save that pop for me to fucking yell.
It took half a decade, but Unity is here. I've talked enough as is, but I got to tell you, I'm very happy to not have to go out of my way to try and bury this guy in chat every single opportunity that I get, like I have done the last half decade.
If both of y'all get back in your bag, it's very dangerous for fucking, like Russ said. Russ says, I don't like Jake tag with anyone. Fuck you. Good night. That's gonna, people are gonna feel the type of way if fucking the perfect storm is a problem. Oh God, if that, I can't, you know
the
what?
Perfect storm. The tag champs are coming. Storm. Don't get used to the future idiots, boys.
Don't book. Like, I don't want no one booking that for a main event because once the song plays, I'm going to start singing and making noise. So let's avoid that. That'll be obnoxious. That'll cause Jamie to mute the stream. Anyway, what's the next match, Maxie?
It is the Conjure Me promo.
Oh yes, Conjure Me, Leo Grimm.
Oh yes, Leo.
I liked it. It was, I think, might have been a little too long. Like
not too long. But
yeah. I mean, my thing is,
I have my thoughts on that.
My thing is, when it comes to these kind of promos, the less is always more, because when you do less, it leaves them wanting more. When you just kind of go, because it wasn't even long, it was like 2 minutes, but it feels like most wrestling promos are about a minute and change, unless it's like talking about a big, like whatever. So other than that, no, I liked it a lot. I'm glad to hear the Leo stuff. He always looked terrifying. It's a big dude. Maxx gotten better on the stick, so he can believably play a fucking hoss now, and it might not be like an ass whooping or some shit. So I like it. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. It's very spooky Undertaker-ish, so it'll be interesting to see where that plays out and what he does with it. I dug it. I just felt it might have been a little too long in the tooth. You could have got there quicker. Maybe a little bit more exposition, but whatever. That's just me being a producer. Let's do Sheldon. Do you want to be picked first? Fuck it. Sheldon, Maxx, Jake, Cass, go.
Yeah, I can't say too much on the Leo Grimm promo because for me, I don't understand most of it, to be honest. I know it's supposed to be this creepy Undertaker-like character, but the most thing he says I have problems with, so I don't understand it.
Well, you mean you physically can't understand what's being said, or?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. It's a fair assessment.
No, I think he understands the words. Like I think
understand
that's what
the
he was
words.
asking.
Yeah,
but you don't understand the background behind it.
Exactly.
Oh, got you. That's a language thing. Okay, that's nothing to be ashamed of. It'd be like that. Who's next?
I think I'm next.
Go.
See, sometimes I don't even be understanding the words, but I get what they're saying. Even if I don't know exactly what they're saying.
Fuck you.
But yeah, I think it could have been like 15 seconds. Like it wasn't like super duper long. I like the visuals were pretty immaculate throughout the whole thing. Definitely like level up from what the first incarnation.
Oh hell yeah.
Of Leo's been pretty well, and pretty exciting to see a new player.
A new thing. It's not really so much. I said Undertaker, but it's more like maybe Kane. If you want to make a modern day comparison, I guess Kane, Abyss, perhaps. Cast your next, or is it Jake?
It's
no.
Sorry, I'll wait my turn.
Okay, go ahead, Cass.
No. Jake was first.
All right, go ahead, Jake.
I thought I was, yeah.
Sorry.
I don't think that defaulting to try and find a real life comparison is necessarily the best way to go about it. Not that, like, that's all of our immediate assumption, right? We're like, what is this? Like, what? I don't understand this. Let's try and compare it to something that I do know. And like you say Kane, you say like there's some Bray Wyatt mixed in there. Like there's a lot of that. But one of the reasons I love OCW is because it is so unique. And that's why I fucking hate when somebody new shows up and they're like, oh, this is just X from real life. And like that shit bothers me to no end.
Well, if I break off for
Leo
a second.
Grimm,
can I break off for a second?
You should, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So
please.
again, it was like, it's not to say it is, but it's just like if you give a quick comparison. But even that isn't accurate because you can't really, like, for example, if Leo is just a really big guy, and the last time we saw him, he was like covered in like Sam Raimi zombie fucking what's this dude Rob Zombie flesh kind of thing. So the reason I say Kane is because it's like a supernatural character basically. But even then, that's not really a fair comparison. So when you look at Grim, you're not gonna say who is this? You're gonna be like, what the fuck? You're not gonna say Kane. I'm just using that as like a quick whatever. But you may continue.
I get it, and I don't mean to dismiss your comparison. I just mean the fact that like we all have to take a step back and say, not everything is immediately an inspiration from something else, right? Your brain is in the right mode to try and say, I don't know what this is. Let's try and associate it with something my brain does know. But the fact that he has hit that point makes him unique. It makes him fun. And so this is the comparison I wanted to make. This is what got Horse over. It's not there yet, obviously, but Leo Grimm clearly being the supernatural, crazy, giant, 7-foot, demonic, aliens-esque character that he is, gives you an avenue to be like a special attraction. So whenever he does show up, and it has taken time, like a lot of people may not know this. Leo Grimm was the Iceman Nate Mack's first character.
Oh my god, that's not
there was no Iceman Nate Mack. It was like Leo Grimm was his first character. Like that was his rookie guy. Once he got promoted, he shelved Leo Grimm and made the Iceman Nate Mack that we know and love today.
You lost in the sauce. No, what happened was Leo was gonna get promoted. Some fucking dummy got in his ear. He shelved Leo, came back with Mac. The promotions happened. He goes, why didn't I get promoted? And I said, well, because you got a new character, brother. So he had to get Mac over, and he got Mac over. But you know,
there you go.
That's the fucking cookie crumble. That's why I tell rookies when they come in, hey man, be careful who you listen to, because not everybody knows what the fuck you're talking about. But I digress. It's not about that. It's about the fact that is in fact the very first character he came in, and that character had a lot of mileage, but then he pivoted to Nate Mack. And the funny thing is, Nate Mack is good, and Leo has been kind of shelved. And I think it's worked to his benefit to have actually Mac as opposed to Leo, because when you have when you have a Haas, you can't make much headway. Jake, back to you.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you for that correction. But that's how I remember it. Like obviously Leo Grimm, because the big first feud, right, that they had was the one that I remember Leo from was El Parka when he was a rookie. This was what, 4 years ago at this point?
I think so.
El Parka versus Odon Klein, who we're not going to talk about. That's Hatsune Miku. Versus so it was Leo Grimm, El Parka, and Odon Klein. And then once the that's where Jay's thing comes in. Once the promotions happened, it was like, what are we doing here? And I think a lot that was coming in the time where we told people that they couldn't make a second character until they were promoted. But the fact that he was able to pivot into Iceman and make Iceman what he is today, he's such a fan favorite. Like, we love Iceman. We talked about it on last night's post-show pod, and he's still able to have Leo Grimm as this side specialty character. I was such a big fan of the stuff that Leo did with KD. Back before KD joined before KD joined Kassidy, it looked like KD and Leo Grimm were going to be a team, and then that was kind of muddy there. And then KD pivoted to Kassidy. It was super fucking weird, but it's still impressive either way how he's able to continue to do this. He clearly cares for the character, and this segment, I do agree with you that it did go a little bit too long, but I think it actually benefited the stream. For people who were watching the stream, they were reacting to what just had happened with Quartz and H2O. So to have this go as long as it did gave people time to decompress. Yeah,
that's the thing with streams. The streams are like, because like prior to commentary, people would just kind of like shoot the shit anyway, but then when this stuff's actually happening, people are still talking, like I get kind of high-key upset. It's not their fault. It's an interactive experience, but sometimes like, yo, shut the fuck up. Listen to what's happening. But, I get it. It'd be like that sometimes. But, no, yeah. Did we skip anybody, or it was just you?
Me.
It's Cass. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. So I would agree with Jay, just hitting that too long in the tooth situation. Like, the moment it was like coming to an end, I'm like, thank God, it was getting a little too long. So all good with that. I hope the character progresses and continues more naturally with actually being around, because again, what Jake brought up last time we saw it, it was a match with KD, then they were going to have a rematch, and then the swerve,
and then nothing.
KD joins them, and then absolutely nothing.
A very
new
AEW.
game rolled around. A new game rolled around. They signed up, but absolutely nothing came of it. And also, shouldn't have claimed your moves like last week. Didn't that wasn't important. That could have waited.
Yeah. Oh fuck. That's like fucking Transino and finding a tires last year. Like, oh, look at this tire. Yeah, same shit. Fuck yeah. Be secretive sometimes. I'm sorry, Cass. Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
So yeah, no, I look forward to seeing what happens. But again, I need to hammer it home. Less is always more. Like, and trust me, I know. I did a fucking 7-minute voice promo that got shredded to fucking pieces.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was fucking. I tried. I was like, well, you never. Yeah, no. In hindsight, oh boy, that was fucking. That was my fault. I fucked it up. I could have had a good minute and a half and we've been all right, but nah, I had to keep going and I fucked it up. But it'd be like that. So live and learn. That was a long fucking time ago. So looking forward to that. Maxi, docket, please. Yes.
Terra Amp.
Terra Amp. Oh boy. Hype package. Amazano per the usual. The whole lead up. So we have a hype package, then we have a documentary, which I honestly thought the documentary would just be about like, oh hey, like this is a thing to give for the the match, whatever. This was not what I expected for the documentary. Fun fact, I actually wanted to do a video. I was like workshopping it where, you know how like when they have like movies or whatever and they go critically acclaimed and they start posting people's they start quoting people who left comments. I had a whole thing out like, oh, see what everyone's talking about and like these different quotes that were from the whatever and showing all the insanity, but I didn't get time to do it. Long story short, but yeah, this has been building how long, Jake? How many months? Maybe 8 months. Well, 8 months.
I mean, if you're just bottling it into this feud, it's 8. But the benefit we had is all of the history we had coming up together because we were in not the same rookie class. She came in after me, but we were both still very new to OCW at the time. So there was a lot of like coming up and learning things together at the time. But if you just count this feud, it's been 8 months, man. Like I reached out to her in September of 2022 and I'm like, hey, I think Wrestlution 17 is Terra Empress. What do you think? And like it went from there. But
no, it was a very well done fucking story. We'll talk about both. So the video and the actual match. The match itself, for someone who does not watch wrestling, Emp gets it. Emp is a fucking future Hall of Famer for a reason. Not now, because fuck her. But I'm saying, in the future, Hall of Famer. Like, from the mix of shenanigans with actual competitive is very difficult to do because some people are stupid. Emp is not one of those people. She's kind of dumb, but not really. So starting things, so the whole count out thing, like, oh, we're gonna get counted out, and that people in the chat like, oh, this is bullshit. Like people in the chat like, oh, not this way. Like it was great. And then fucking the music hits. It's great. Like fucking the new rookies were like into it, which is great. I love fucking Jinx was into it, Juice was in it, like Pat. I heard Pat a couple of times. Like people were into that shit. So trying to get the count out and then the stopping the count and then when the match actually starts doing the no, I don't want to fight, and then just smacking the shit out of Terror, running out the ring to fucking bait her to get cracked out and get counted out again, like dumb shit like that. It was a fucking good match. Trying to hit the finisher at the very end and fucking spazzing because the game was great, but it is what it is. Good fucking match. I like that people went broke. I like people thought, oh, we're gonna get a happy ending. No one leaves happy. No one leaves happy, brother. And it kind of played into what happened later on. When it comes to booking an actual card, it's difficult because had I known what was happening and everything prior, then maybe it could have been like, structured differently. But even then, like it's fucking hard. It's difficult. No one will ever understand the work that we go through to try to make things seamless and and make sense. So we will do we'll do fresh for a change. We'll do Jake first because whatever. We'll do Jake, Sheldon, Cass, Maxx, go.
I'll try not to talk for too long.
Okay.
Yeah, this like I said went from when we originally conceived of the match back in September. The seeds that we planted, we knew that we could use Dragana's return as a great way to go about this. So we started at Queen of OCW with Tara coming back from her head injury, when Dragana being like that dream match. So, but because the reason this works is because that was so far back into. Cass, you wanna type any louder? Sorry, you're throwing me off here, Mike. I'm way too drunk to do 6 things at once. So back at Queen of OCW, when she made the match official, the Empress was a good general manager. She was still brand new. Everybody loved her because it's like Imp is back, like whatever. That was before she actually got corrupted.
Yeah.
So we made sure to plant these seeds throughout the whole thing. When she was not corrupted, it was like a little tease. If you go back and watch, it was a little tease. It was like, your match at Animal House is somebody that has a lot of history with you. And then Tara and Imp stare each other down, but then Dragana comes out. And then the whole side thing, I say it's a side thing, but it wasn't a side thing. That was like the thing at the time. With Harry Etiquette being world champion, with Empress and Jasmine Caffey and like all the other feuds. Empress has done this masterfully. I know you said Empress doesn't watch wrestling, so the fact that she does this so well is so crazy. And it is, honestly, it really is, because it's so fucking perfect. We went from that moment. We had 6-woman tag matches. We had pay-per-view matches with Cheyenne. We had matches with Cameo on TV. Like, we hit all the high notes. We hit War Games, the first ever War Games. We sat in that fucking chat for at least 3 hours, going through desync after desync after desync after desync.
Yeah.
Because I put my shit on the line. I said, Jay, we want War Games. You said, no, you're not doing War Games. I'm like, we want it. Like, this is what we want. And I fought you for it, and you eventually relented, and you gave us the opportunity. And I'm so happy that we were able to deliver for Road to Glory. We built up to this moment. I knew at this point that, plans changed a little bit, but I knew up to this point that it would be Tara's career on the line in order for her to get the match. I didn't know how it was going to go. I had plans if Tara had won, because that's how you do OCW. You do your match. You have plans if you win. You have plans if you lose, because it's 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. And I put Tara's career on the line. I didn't expect to lose, but I did. And it was what I'll say this, because the whole thing was emotional for me. Like, I watched the entrances back multiple times, and like this is my favorite character in OCW, even past Quartz, honestly. The whole arc, everything that's gone on to it, it's been one of my favorite things. And not every story ends in a happy ending. And I think that's a lot of what the assumption was, is like, her career's on the line. She's like 28 years old. There's no way this is the end. And I didn't plan it to be, but I lost fair and square. And so that's the way it goes. What I was surprised about it for the reaction was to hear so many people on Empress's side. And that's so interesting, because I expect, for me personally, I'm like watching these clips back, and I'm like almost in tears, and I'm like, like all the shit that I put in for this whole story. And like, this is such a sad ending. The good guy doesn't always win. But then in viewing party, a lot of, I'm not going to say most, but there was a lot of people that were chanting, na, 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 goodbye.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. It's all right. I mean, you're Cassidy. You're a dumb piece of shit anyway. We'll get to that later in the main event. But I was surprised to see that. But you can't control how people react, and that's fine with me. It was a 6-year-long story from the bottoms of the doldrums of debuting against Kat at Ladies' Night, all of the different character changes, the marriage to Sue. Like, there was so many high points. Imp was not wrong in one thing in her documentary. Tara is a career loser.
Oh.
She goes out that same way, and it's pretty sad. So if I can maybe negotiate with Cass a little bit to do his necromancy, then maybe Taro maybe could come back later. But as it stands right now, I'm committed to the story. So.
It's easy, brother.
Thank you.
It's easy, brother. Like I said,
I'm not gonna derail it. I'm not gonna derail it and give us an opportunity to shit on this. No.
You're not gonna bring up Tara Buteo.
No. But I'm happy. I'm happy with the whole arc that happened. It was 5 actual years that I could express this whole thing, and like we accomplished a lot of things. So many pay-per-view matches, the first ever War Games, first women's main event in modern history. She never won the championship, but the fact that everybody else thinks she's a former world champion, because every time I do an RP, they're like, "Oh, the former champion." I'm like, no, she never won. That was her whole goal. So I'll tell you this: Suplex is not fired, and Suplex is going hell for leather. Jason Sensation
gonna kill that bitch, right?
So she's gonna fucking kill that bitch. We'll talk about Drago's whole thing later, but yeah, just happy everybody enjoyed it.
No, it was good, but yeah, the crowd was definitely, it was a mixed crowd. Definitely a Vegas crowd. That shit, there was quite a few people. I was like, damn, bro, that shit is dirty. These motherfuckers are garbage human beings. But you can't like dictate who people cheer for. So yeah, no, it was fucking fun, and that's the thing. Like when you like, this is the equivalent of like when you're doing D&D and your character dies, basically. Like you don't really come back. You don't resurrect. Well, some people don't, but you know, that's why you don't put these things on the line. Fucking Nate was gonna do that. I was like, I put the kibosh on that shit real quick. I was like, nope.
I'm so happy that got backtracked, because if Nate Ortiz has a match on the same card that his career's on the line, it would have put a damper on it. So the way they were able to pivot was so good.
Well, that was because I said no. He's like, can I do that? I was like, nope. Because then you're done. Like he was like, I'll do it. I was like, no, don't do that. So let's do something. You gotta
commit to it.
Yeah,
right?
no, because
you're gonna lose.
Yeah. Like, they were like, how many career matches that Nate had? And Pew was like, oh, he has 3. No, he hasn't had any. Because if he has a match and whatever, he'll lose, or if it happens, and then he just goes away. But it's not a retirement. It's not a career, nothing. And with Pew was, Pew lost in Chicago. Pew can never go to Chicago. That's it. You know, there's habitual people who retire and come back. Emp was guilty of it at one point, but then she was going into fighting, so whatever. But fucking Leon Hart was a habitual, I'm retiring and then fucking coming back, which is stupid. But there's plenty of other fucking people. Aries done it, Leon done it, fucking who the fuck else? There's like Valmos done it. There's like a cornucopia of people that do it. It's dumb. I think Kane did it at one point too. Like, just don't do it. Just fuck off and then come back and okay, and then whatever. That's simple, but I digress. Who's next on the list? Who's next? Is it after Jake?
Me or Sheldon.
Sheldon, you got anything to add, Sheldon, or you just want to be cute and quiet?
I just wish I can go into details like Jack did, but I can't.
Because of the language barrier?
I feel bad, bro.
I wish, if we had like a German
I don't think it's a language barrier.
But because I don't have that knowledge yet.
Yeah, it's a language barrier.
It's not a language barrier. No, it's not what he's saying. Listen how handsome and suave he sounds right now. You think it's a language barrier? He speaks English better than half the people in the Fed.
Shit speaks it better than I do.
He doesn't have the same history, and obviously I'm closer to the character and the whole situation. That's what he's trying to put through. It's not a language barrier at all. This guy is the more understandable than Blacksmith. I'll tell you that, and I just feuded with him for 6 months.
Oh, fucking the Blacksmith PMs were fucking amazing. I love Horse so much just for those PMs.
Yeah, so go ahead, Sheldon.
Yeah, I can't say it. I like the match. I like the feud. Void, whatever, however you say it, I don't care. And yeah, it had a sad ending, but the story goes on.
Not every story can end happy, and wrestling never ends, right, Sheldon?
I'm a D&D player, and I know that not every story can go on a good
damn right
end.
That's basically how it goes.
And Sue carries the flag.
Pretty much. So that's gonna be interesting to see. Maxie, you're up. Yes, or is it Maxie or Cass?
Yeah, I'm up.
Go ahead.
As for the high package, I guess bringing it back. The high package.
Talk about that. Fuck yeah.
While it was well done, the wellest stuff done. All right, the most cooked steak was that tagline. You know, betting on your career. And I really just exemplified, you know, the whole idea of like sacrifice, you know, what you're willing to give up to get what you want, and that's kind of what this story in itself was all about. Obviously, Tara didn't get what she want for the match. I thought Em did an amazing job playing like a really old school kind of heel. I think Sino said it in chat. Or like the tactics. I'm pretty sure she like distracted the referee and then went to jump Tara. And I think it backfired later when she like took the turnbuckle off and then got the roll up and it didn't work out. It was just really great stuff, and it's something that I don't even think you can't plan for that. It just happens during the match, and it's just
savant.
It was a really it was a way different match than all the other matches on the show. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
So before Cass, I forgot. You're right. I forgot to mention that. So the turnbuckle spot and then just counting to 7, nothing happened. Then when the finally ref turned around, kick out, and then she does it again. Like she doesn't watch wrestling. She does not watch wrestling. So how the fuck does she know this? Like how the fuck does she know this? B? It's crazy. Because there's people who do watch wrestling and do the dumbest shit on the planet. So it's so fucking weird. Like the people who do, I don't know. Whatever. Cass, you're up.
Hype package was absolutely amazing. Some of those flicker spots with the different attires. Emp's just too goddamn fucking talented. Just that's what it is. I do feel like this match could have been higher. I understand some aspects of what needs to go where because the Drago segment later calling her back out, so obviously she couldn't be like last. That wouldn't make sense in the context of these scenes. Match was amazing. Emp is a fucking baller. I was one of those people on Emp's side, obviously. Tara's always been a dumb bitch to me. And now Jake's gonna put in even more creativity into a different character, just reset his D&D on that slot, and I can't wait to see who that's gonna be.
Interesting take. Yeah. I didn't get to mention the hype package, so just briefly because I've already talked enough. Like, goddamn, dude, the fact that I am at a position in OCW where I can work with people where I can just say you have full permission to do like whatever you want, and it's always amazing.
It gets done.
I mentioned earlier Owen Colby is the second best hype package of the weekend, not the night, the weekend. This is my pick for number 1, and I didn't make it. Tara was involved in it. That's my character, whatever. But Cass said it the best.
100%.
She is so talented. She is so fucking talented in everything she does. She understands the context of what's going on, the emotions to play up to. It's so strange, but god damn it, she is so good.
She's like Pew with tits. It's annoying. Always fucking arguing with me, dude. Like every fucking day.
Yeah, she's more likable.
No, they're equally as annoying. Well, to me,
Olivia
to you,
amazing.
Olivia's a fucking pain in my ass. God damn it. What's the next one? Good for that's Emp. Moving on. What's the next one?
Women's title. Straight into it.
Okay, so we have the hype. Yeah. We have the hype package, and then the actual the women's title match. The hype package. Dug it. Volume needs to be higher. I kind of felt the talking was a little too long, but I guess it's thematic, whatever. My thing is like short is better, but that's me. So the volume, other than that, when it kicked into the actual music, that had more volume to it, and the actual video content of itself was great. The match itself, very fucking high pace, lots of counters, lots of reversals, lots of everybody getting their shit in at like varying points of the fucking match. It was a really worthy women's title match for something that was kind of thrown together, not last minute, but within the confines of what, a couple weeks, maybe 4 weeks about. So still a bigger build than the AEW match, but I digress. So we'll do Cass, Maxx, Jake, then Sheldon. You're on.
All right, hype package, solid. I really enjoyed it. Match was very good. There was some points where like you could have seen some shit happen one way or another if someone clicked the wrong damn button. It was close. It was really close. Jean almost got fucked with the no sell, but she stomped her once and told her, "Stay bit down, bitch." And then went over
the
there
rollout,
in the other one.
The fucking rollout.
Absolutely solid showing by all three. Of course, I wanted Fury to win. It's Castianity, obviously, but Jean did solid. Fuck Zoe. She also left me. Dumb hoe. Overall, very satisfying. Congrats to Jasmine. Hard fought victory, although that ending scene of coughing, looking up at the sky, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Dumb bitch. I'm just kidding. Who's next?
I'm next.
Go ahead.
I would echo your thoughts, Shay, on the high package when it comes to the talking just being very low. I was deafened and I tried to turn it up. Still couldn't really hear exactly what was being said. Probably have to like super boost it at a later point. But I did like the talking leading into the music. I think narrating it just made it so much easier to kind of craft what you want the video to be. As for the match, I love me a good triple threat, and I think this is like a perfect example of it, where it was kind of like everybody kind of like scrambling. It was always like the odd woman, I guess in this case, where two people are fighting, and then there's always that third person coming through. I love when they break up all the pinfalls and make sure like it makes it feel like I don't want you to win kind of thing. Anybody could have really had it. I thought other people did have it, and then when like the stomp happened, all that, it's just you can't really write that, but it was a good win for Jasmine.
Jake, you're up.
Am I? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, boy, I have so much props to give on the high package because of what was talked about, where this was not the most obvious end game for Jasmine Caffey. In the situation that she was in as world champion, the whole story that's been told over the last, I would argue, since Riot 600, honestly, since we got our hands on 2K23, has been this insecure, self-inadequate, but not actually inadequate person at the top of the mountain, and found herself there by happenstance, honestly, because that Ryan 600 match with her and Harry Etiquette was kind of out of the blue, which we talked about it. But the fact that she found herself in this position at a time where the women's division was going through a crazy renaissance, and like you have all of these incredibly tantalizing stories and all of this stuff happening in the women's division, the fact that the high package leaned into that and like played up to the fact that the history of the modern production era in the women's division has been crazy, and all of these different changes have happened and everything, and this is where all of those changes have landed. I deafened myself for all the hype packages, so I can't tell you that I felt the same way about the volume. Like, I didn't notice because I can't hear all of you shouting in the viewing party while I'm watching it because I deafened it. It seemed fine to me, but maybe watching in post it would not be. I don't know. But the thematic choices are what I want to put the most theme on here. It would have been so easy and lazy to just go, let's fabricate some kind of vitriol or history between Jasmine, Fury, and Zoe Colt. The real story here is Zoe and Fury, right? That's been the story for a while. So the fact that the person who put the thing together didn't try and ham fist their way into that, and instead focused on the overall status of the women's division and all of the different players that are within it and all of the history that led up to this moment, I thought was a fucking genius decision. I was such a fan of it for that reason. The second half of it, playing up to it, was perfect for hype just in the match itself. And Maxx pretty much said everything I could have said about the match. Like, none of them wanted each other to win. They all treated the championship like it was the prize that it should have been. And I was shocked when we called it to see Jasmine win. But I think it's perfect, right? Because you're dealing with two women who are the most decorated women in OCW, who have their own feud going on behind the scenes. Jasmine, who recently turned heel, ends up getting the win, coughing up her blood, coughing up her lungs. I don't know what the future is going to hold, but in terms of how you could have made the women's division's top prize feel the most important, this did a very good job.
Next up,
I wanna break out.
He's breaking out.
I completely forgot about certain details, not about this match, but as a background, I have to give Jean/Jasmine ridiculous amount of credit because think of the rub she's gotten from people. She beat Dragana. She just beat 2 former women's champion, one of which is the longest. The other almost is tied for the most reigns.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Everybody's putting over new stars. Sheldon, thoughts?
I got nothing more to add.
Fucking
That's why you can't put 5 people on your panel, Jay.
Hey, man.
We take all of the talking points.
I can only say I'm happy for who won. Like that's biased.
Okay, well, hey man, if you ain't
because
got
I think she is cute and I want to smooch her.
She has big dumper. Anyway,
that's for Shian.
Max, it's DNS.
He can't even plead the 5th. That's not a thing in this country.
It's DNS, right, Dan?
Yeah.
I mean, right, white Dan. Wow,
I love this so much.
I'm drunk. Right, Max? Yeah. So DNS, fucking shout out, Hoot. Fun fact. The original video was 30 seconds of black space. So on stream, I was able to switch it over, and then on YouTube, you can clip it. So thank God. I was like, "Hey Jimmy, is this supposed to be 30 seconds of nothing?" He's like, "What you mean?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. It's just 30 seconds of nothing. I don't know what's up with that." He's like, "Oh no, that's not supposed to be." So it was fixed. No, I positioned that specifically for a reason because initially that was like on like maybe the 3rd. No, initially that video was right after the Colby. No, it was right after the 3rd match, which was North American. I swapped places with it, so I moved that further down just because out of like, you know how I said a call to action, hey, if you're not booked or whatever, if you're a rookie, do stuff. Not a lot of people did. Victor Matt wrote something for night 1 and DNS did something for night 1 and night 2. Everybody else, like Scotty X ain't do shit, Hanzo ain't do shit. There's a list of people who ain't do shit. I'm not gonna name names, but those are off the top of my head. So they did shit. So might as well fucking. And then on top of that, the video was clean. Like it was like not 720p. So they came out, cut a little promo, full force. I said before, I'll say it again. They're old people. So old handlers tend to have an idea of what the fuck they're doing, which is nice because, like, I don't know how to explain it. We've had rookie factions and they all suck. These guys don't suck. It's good to see. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see them all show up. So it's like, fuck it. Might as well give them the quote unquote rub or whatever. So I enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what happens with DNS and Samson. That whole saga is going to be interesting as fuck. I like the whole look, the aesthetic. It reminds me of the late 90s and I'm old. So it's like a comfort food. It's like chicken soup for the soul for me. So I'm good. I'm happy with these old motherfuckers doing shit. So we'll see what the fuck happens. It's a good time. This time we will do Sheldon first so he can actually get thoughts out so no one can take it from him. We'll do Sheldon, Jake, Max, and Cass. Go, Sheldon. You're up.
And now the funny thing, I am a little lost. What?
What?
What are we talking about again?
DNS, their entrance.
The rookies.
And their promo. You there, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I liked it. I'm happy that. I mean, I was in a rookie faction in quotation marks. It's always great when you have a couple of people putting yourself on the map. Of course, it shouldn't get too many people because it's like 4 or 5 now.
It's 5.
It's 5.
5, yeah. Which I think is the perfect amount, but
yeah.
But you are right. You can't get too
I disagree.
Big, right?
Yeah. I hope each other gets enough time, does his stuff, and we have another Wrestling Club 1.0 on our hands.
No. No, because the Wrestling Club was John and a bunch of NPCs. I feel like other people are contributing.
Yeah.
And I hope that all of the people in DNS do their stuff. And yeah.
Simple enough. I mean, hell,
I fucking love Sheldon so much, dude. Like the fact that universally when he just a quick side, but the fact universally when he won, like all spectrums were happy for him is a testament to him not being a piece of shit. Like when universally,
I had a character of 5 years lose her career
and
to the
motherfuckers, a lot of
piece
people,
of shit, and I got booed out of the arena.
Not booed out of the arena.
This guy's a heel. This guy's a heel in character and got a standing ovation
from everybody, all spectrums, hoot, non-hoot, OCW, non-OCW, the fucking DP, everybody was
it's
like, yay!
crazy. Like that speaks volumes on its own.
Fucking Rex of all, everybody was like, yay! Jesus, it's hot out here, pimp.
It's hot on our side too.
No, who's next on the list? I forgot already.
That's either me or Jake.
Fuck it, you can go. Jake talked a lot.
Okay. In that case,
we're making great time too.
The entrance, I was really cool and creative. Having them all come out slowly. We finally see Samson kind of join the rest of them.
Dope attire.
More official. The motion, I think the motion was the really cool part because it fits so that he's still, not all there. While Mad Dog is kind of just going about his business. Speaking more to point about what you said, or no, what Sheldon said about being the wrestling club kind of 2.0. I feel like we've
1.0.
I feel like we've seen so much like individual growth from, I guess, 4 of the 5 members of this. Where we saw, Samson, he's been here before and he's here again, and we've seen him, already do so much. We've seen Jinx already like improve just video wise, doing their own thing. Mad Dog made an impression like in his debut promo on everybody, before he was even associated with DNS. And then Bash has also been steering the ship and has kind of reformed his character. And now coming out, this is like an amazing look for him to come out, in the middle of everything as a big leader. I think they're all, on their own individual trajectories. And it's even hard to think that like that's just one group. As for the segment again, it was just about presence. It didn't like necessarily push a whole lot of like narrative or agenda, but establish someone to show. It was really cool to see them. It didn't feel like they invaded Vegas. It was like a takeover kind of thing, and it felt really cool.
Fucking reading chat. I guess we'll do Cass and Jake. Wait, no, Cass spoke already. No, no, Cass. Sorry.
All right. I absolutely love the aesthetic. The South Park characters are fucking great.
Yeah, it's so late
I've been
90s.
A big fan of Jimmy since he's been here. I mean, I absolutely hated the look of this call. Like, did not like that one bit. But the group and his work overall, absolutely another RZ member who's chalked it up higher than Cobra so far. Mad Dog, I also have enjoyed. And honestly, I hope out of this, I hope Samson gets cured of the worm and is the Tibby fighting Lotus to this group.
Yeah, that's what I fucking said. I don't know where I said it, but I said the same thing. I'm like, if they do that, then that's fodder for like the next couple of months, because he can he can work on everybody. He can work on everybody individually and then eventually fight Bash. But the weird thing is, Bash is the mechanically least. Wow, how to say it not rude. He's the least.
He fucking stinks.
Yeah, he stinks. So him being the last is basically just Samson gonna fucking like a fucking chew toy. So that's the only issue. But like working up his way to that might also be the story as well, because Pat's pretty solid. Jinx pretty solid. This Omen dude, I'm sure that's that one from None dude, the rookie, more or less. So
yeah, Toffin.
I don't know, Toffin. I don't know his FPR because he hasn't even been booked yet. So, I don't fucking know. But those two alone are like, they're on point, so they can give the fight to fucking Samson. But Yimmy's gonna have to fucking hit the lab, or at least maybe it'll be good for a story that Samson works his way up, and then the final boss is actually easier than everybody else, like the video game. So who the fuck knows? Either way, I'm really intrigued to see what happens with DNS, and it's good shit. Like, rookies know what they're fucking doing, and it's nice. And the ideal number for rookies is actually 3, not 5. Just correction. So with that being said, Jake, take it away.
Yeah, man. Oh, I fucking love this entrance so much. I really, really love this entrance. The initial part where they come down with the fact that they built multiple stages for their entrance graphics and recorded multiple different entrances to encapsulate the characters that were within. like seeing Mad Dog come out initially and like with Samson being the motion. The best part of OCW is when you can give me a motion or a presentation and I immediately am like, what is this? Right? Like, I don't recognize this. This is a DNS thing at this point. They had them, I think, I don't even really know. I think it was the Steiners, the first one they did, but the fact that one guy's coming out and I think it was Jinx that was with, or no, it was Mad Dog that was with him and he's all fired up. And then next to him, you have Samson who is playing into the character. He's like grabbing his head and he's like, he's a part of the worm. I said this in the viewing party. Like all these other guys are there from
their own free will.
And Samson is not. And so the fact they were able to display that in the story is so tremendous.
Little things,
like, dude.
Little tiny fucking things.
That's what it is. The little things, the aesthetic, all of it, from coming out with the first two and then doing the three. Like the moment when Bash walks out, is huge. And like he's a loser, right? He's got his ass kicked forever. He looked like a fucking goof in his debut. And despite all of that, he comes out at the end and you're like, oh shit. And that's OCW, man. Yep. Like when we say wins and losses don't matter, that's what we're fucking talking about. And I've known Jim for 10 years.
Fucking loved it. Like, I loved it so much.
But I know Cass brought up another RZ guy doing better than Cobra.
Yeah.
Like, I've known Jen for 10 years at this point. He's been in RZ. I've known Toffin for probably 7 years.
Wait, you actually know Toffin?
Yes.
I thought
Toffin is my guy.
I thought he was a rookie.
Yeah, no. And here's another fun fact. Mike has been in OCW before.
He mentioned that, but I don't remember. He didn't like Mike, he signed up but didn't compete.
I don't know. It was a long fucking time ago.
Yeah.
Mike joined OCW ages ago. I don't know how far it went because I wasn't.
He didn't get far at all. Like I think he didn't even get past the opening door.
But the only reason I know that is because like one night where I went back and looked at old applications to like crack jokes or whatever, I'm like, holy shit. And I went to my other server in Discord and I'm like, Mike, hey, bro. So when he showed up and like the whole Ambition promo, A Bad Omen is coming, I'm like, I know what's happening.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's one of those, it's one of those situations like the journey is better than the destination. They're killing it right now. It's a big thing.
That's a relief. You know what? That's a relief. That's like knowing that now I only have to be worried about his FPR because between everybody there and even you, if you get involved, like his FPR will be on point.
Well, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, which is what I was about to get to.
I'm not getting involved.
I don't want anything to do responsibility-wise, reputation-wise. They are doing their own thing. The same reason I came in as a fake persona is because I thought AC Cobra was this big superstar.
Nope.
And I didn't want his reputation. Obviously, I misread that situation, which is fine, but I still was able to like build my own thing on my own 2 feet.
Bro.
And Jim has done that entirely. So I don't want any of this like another RZ guy or whatever. And I know it's not meant. I know it's not meant as malice, but I'm not coaching this motherfucker. I don't talk to Jim every day on OCW stuff. He has talked to me for the last 4 years, 3 or 4 years. Like, hey, I'm gonna come eventually. Like, it's gonna come. And then when he shows up for him to be this, he gets it. He just immediately gets it. And I'm just sitting back and letting it happen. And it's amazing to see.
He 100% does, and that's like I like that. Like, it's less headache, and it's good. Like I said, my only concern is people asking about fucking titles, which is like, like don't worry about a fucking title. Just do what you gotta do.
But they'll learn. But they'll learn. They will. Like, so like Victor Matt is the best. Like he's like, oh, when was there a rookie championship? Like that shouldn't be your priority.
No.
And so I think it was Jamie that said promotion is the rookies championship. That is what I.
It's like a blessing and a curse. Go ahead, Cass.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, presentation wise, I can see why Jake would think AC Cobra is a star, because from custom music to some of the shit he's had made for him by others, he should be, but he just.
No, that always popped me.
And I've stood on that too. That's why he was my first feud when I won the world title. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, we're gonna fucking do this thing. You're gonna take this momentum. He got into the FI, but like. He's a long range trucker now. He's not listening.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It always makes me laugh. It makes me laugh that you're gonna be a legend eventually, and he's not, and he's been here way longer than you. But it'd be like that sometimes.
Shit happens. 2011, I think, is when he joined.
Yeah. So, or maybe 12. So, So fucking Jinx is like graduating is what, yeah, it's what you want, but trust me, it's not what you want. And don't, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like when it happens, more than likely you might not graduate. Don't be in your fucking feelings about it either, because when you graduate, you get to actually finish it, but then you also get like more responsibility, and you don't want that. Like if you fuck up now, it's like, oh, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, you'll be buried.
Yeah,
you'll be, yeah, right.
When you're
when
you're grown and you fuck up, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball.
I don't want to do this right now, but we can move on right after this.
We can.
Like look at Scotty X. Scotty X was considered somebody who was prematurely
should not
promoted.
have graduated.
I vouched for him to be promoted because I thought more was on the rise.
Well, to be fair,
it's clear at this point that that's not happening. He doesn't care about OCW. He doesn't watch anything. He doesn't listen to anything. He's not going to even listen to the words that I'm saying. I still, to this day, right now, as I'm speaking, believe that he has a niche to be carved out here, and it hasn't happened yet.
You just got to do it.
But you can see how the dialogue around his character has changed between his rookie time, where it was like, Scotty X, my boy, and now when he's promoted, where everybody's like, where the fuck is Scotty X? What's he doing? Do something, please. So if you're begging on a promotion, you should just know that the expectations will be way higher once you're promoted.
It's not even on top of that.
It's
also the fact that like when you fuck up, it's way worse. Because at this point,
way
you should
worse.
know better.
You'll be suspended.
Yeah,
and they're in competition. Don't break FPR the way that some of these other people do.
I mean, Cody like is suspended technically, but the fact that fucking his ambition match was like pre-done, is like, fuck it, why not? But
and the fact that he's still suspended and like trying to push, like, you can say what you want about the quality of what Cody is doing, but I believe, and I will always put all of my chips into passion. And you can make fun of the motherfucker all you want. But I love Cody Hagen.
Yeah, I love him.
He is so passionate about what we do. Night 1, night 2, he's suspended from main roster competition right now because of his garbage FPR, and he is still showing up to Wrestlution because he loves this shit.
Yep.
That's why I love Cody.
I mean, he got it. The only reason he got it was because he was a fucking super duper fan. What was it, 15, where he got his little special shout out just because knowing what the fuck's happening. He's been here from
day one, man.
Yeah, so
he loves this shit.
Shout out to Cody Hagen, but fuck Cody Hagen. Did we miss anybody? But we can move on. Yes, no, maybe so. Can we move on?
We're good.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so Max, I believe it's no, it's actually the Nate Drago hype package. Yes,
Nate Drago. Yeah.
This match. This match is incredibly emotional for me. I'm not gonna talk about it much because it makes me sad. Basically, Melon managed to capture all of or most of their history, which is the fact that there's so much history between them, and the fact including all of the iterations of Nate Ortiz, because it goes all the way back to 2005. I appreciated that. I'll leave it like this. We often use the term GOAT sparingly because we're fucking stupid collectively, but these two are actually those people. Nate has been at this Nate was at this when he was in high school. Now he has children and he is a teacher, and he is still one of the fucking best to do it. So your fucking face. I don't know, man. Great hype package, emotional. The entire match was emotional, but I was drunk, so the emotions were sequestered a little bit. Fucking Drago's Drago, bro. That's all I gotta say. Drago's Drago, and if you're gonna fight Drago, you have to you even when you're in top form, it's not enough. Like, Nate could hold his own when, Nate also has a child now. He's a new father, so that's playing it like Drago is another Drago has what, Jake Allen? What was it? In his career, he started in 2014. So from 2014 to 2023, he has roughly 4 to 5 singles losses in his career. That's not like a joke. It's literally in singles competition. He's only lost about 4 to 5 times.
Five is the number.
I think it's 5.
We landed on in the booth,
and one of them is Nate.
We landed on in the booth.
One of them is Nate.
Right, but and a lot of these are tag or like multis or whatever. I think 5 is the number
singles.
We landed on. Yeah,
singles.
You're right.
Yeah. Tag. I don't know how many tag matches he had. Tag, different story. But singles, it's one of them is Spider, one of them is Nate, one of them is Tony, and I don't remember which other two were. The other two were. It's fucking crazy. So
I'm not gonna pretend to remember either.
Yeah, no, it's before your time. Honestly, even his rookie year was fucking crazy. So we'll do Jake, Cass, Maxx, then Sheldon last. Because I'm sorry, Sheldon, it'd be like that sometimes. Go for it.
I get to go first. Yay! God, what a fucking unbelievable moment this was. Just the whole hype package with the empty chairs was so great. Diving into the history, you can hear me on commentary once you get to the actual match. My number one goal here was to just hammer the point home that that this is not a fabricated story. This is not something where you just tap into Twitch and go like, oh, they're making up this history. It's not.
Yeah.
The 4-3, every time in the hype package where a 4-3 came up, that ages it immediately. And I think that's what does it for me, is they'll pull up footage from SmackDown versus Raw or Raw 2 or any of those old games that we have footage for.
Well, SVRs.
Or no, sorry, yeah. SmackDown versus Raw or WrestleMania 21 is what I meant to say.
Oh, okay.
Because we never recorded in Raw 2, but like anyway, any of those old games, the fact that we pull these footage up and it's immediately in 4-3, like we're not doing that shit for dramatic effect. Right, that is the original footage that is on Jay's drive from 2006 or 2005 or 2008.
Technically it's like 2004, 5, 6, 7. It goes like that, but yeah, you're right.
Right, but yeah, they came in or Nate came in 2004, but like when you get when my comment at the beginning where I was like, this is from 2007.
Can I break out real quick to give you context, to give everyone listening context? So Nate came here roughly. OCW opened in 2000. Well, technically it's 2003, but we'll just go with 4. So at 4 we opened. 5 everything was live. He came in around the beginning of 2005 as a fucking bebe. Drago came in 2014.
18 years old.
Yeah.
He's a grown ass man now.
Drago came in 2014. So like even them thematically apart, 2005 to 2014, that's however many years, I can't count. So that's how far they're apart in
9 years
in experience wise. But then when you go skill wise, 2014, I guess from Drago's perspective, to 2023. So do that math, and then that's how you kind of get an idea. Like, these people have been at this for that long. Literally, it boggles the mind when you think about it. Like it does boggle the mind,
and that's why that's what I focused on a lot in the commentary in the match.
Oh, we were lit for that one.
My shit is peaking. Like my microphone is scratching and peaking throughout the whole thing because I'm just yelling the whole time. We recorded 13 matches in a row to just get it done so that we had time to do the other production stuff that we had to do. So by that point, the fact that I'm still that fired up for a match that was the second last match of night 2, it speaks volumes. It really does. Like Nate is the pinnacle of what OCW should be. Drago is the same way. I love both of them so much. I rooted for Drago here. I mean, you saw Red Sun Rising. I dressed up as Drago. The initial Wrestlution match in Japan between Drago and Nate Ortiz is kind of what got me when I was like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Oh, he loved that so much,
with
by the way.
my free time. Like that shit. This is everything that you need to know about OCW's history to fall in love with it, in my opinion. And if you can't get there by watching this entire facade from hype package to the end bell, then I'm not sure what you're looking for in OCW.
I want a
title. That's all I got.
Yeah. Whoever's next, go for it.
Oh man, those hype packages, and then like it wasn't even just done at one hype package, because one hype package was overall match plus Drago. Then of course Nate's a jerk and has to have his own
asshole
for his entrance.
You're a dick.
He always does that. He's right. He always does that though. That's a Nate thing.
That first one could have been it, but no, it can't. They were both great. And then of course the match. Drago doesn't get overly confident. Drago just whoops your ass. So unlike me against Nate, when I made Jay very upset kicking Nate's ass, Nate eventually comes back. He tries to come back, but Drago just says no.
Hurts my heart.
I meant to mention that too, like to piggyback on Cass's point, the story that was told in the match, because we all know going in that Drago is the superior athlete, the superior player, like whether you want to look at it in kayfabe or in meta, like no matter how you want to look at it, we all know Drago's the superior guy here. So
well,
the
to
story
be
they
fair,
tell,
he's
but the story that
no, breaking out.
You can break out. Please.
Nate's a newfound father, so he's up all night with the baby, and also
No, see, but
Drago's a scientist, so he does science things, so he has more of a brain. He's literally a scientist. He does science stuff.
That's getting too deep.
No,
into meta.
he does science stuff, so he's always using the science equipment to make himself better. Because when shut up, you don't make his Nate is he's a father.
Yeah, Nate,
he's a dad.
I understand. Jay,
the baby keeps him awake at night.
I understand.
The baby keeps him awake.
I'll say this as a proud member of Fuck Them Kids clan, and as a proud person who thinks a non-childbearing life is just as valid as a fucking life where you bear children, I don't think Drago is any less valuable.
He's not. He's amazing. Drago's great, but he's a scientist.
Listen. Congrats on the sex, Nate. Like, I'm happy for you. But we all have our own lives here. And my point still stands. Whether you look at it meta or you look at it non-meta, we all knew coming in that Drago was the favorite here. So the story they were able to tell with Nate being the underdog and the fact that he was actually an underdog and he was able to come back. It wasn't a Bertha thing. Like, he didn't get squashed. He actually fought. He was doing big things. He was still the underdog, but he was able to tell that story in such an efficient way. So thank you for bringing that up and reminding me, Cass.
No problem.
Fucking Sheldon's like, what am I doing up? Might as well. Go ahead, Sheldon. You're up here now, so go ahead. You're next. Sheldon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm there. I was still processing the information.
He's a scientist, fucking Sheldon. Like because scientists, they're smarter and they have to use controllers because he plays video games all the time to keep his brain active.
You're reaching so much.
I am not reaching. Nate's holding a child. He's holding a child in one hand and trying to fight the best athlete in the game.
He's so sad. Oh my God, he is so sad that Nate lost. He's begging for an excuse right now. Sheldon.
I fucking hate all of you.
Somebody help me.
Go ahead, Sheldon. I apologize. These people are animals.
I get it that he's good at the sticks, Drago, but it does. At this point, it didn't matter who was good at playing the game. They told their story. They are two people who are very long here in OCW, and it was still a good match. It was a good story. It was a good high package, and the fact that both of them are still going. Still fresh with ideas.
It's crazy, right? Sheldon, Sheldon, I don't know. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm breaking out here.
No problem.
Can you tell us right now where you were in August of 2004?
Kindergarten. I was
kindergarten. So think about this.
My first school day were 2006. I was in elementary school.
So again, anybody listening right now, try and just lean back in your chair, take a hit from your vape pen, and think about this. Our current world champion, the guy everybody is behind, the guy everybody loves, was in kindergarten when this feud actually began. When Nate Ortiz began his journey to this moment, our current world champion in real life was a kindergartner. That is what OCW is about, baby.
I had hair.
That is why I love this place.
You had hair.
I had hair on my head, so
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sheldon.
But yeah, they still can, even to this day, work a great feud. And I hope we don't have seen the last of them.
Nah.
Even if, of course, private life comes first. But I enjoyed every second of it, so hope there is still more. Because people like me can still learn a lot from the old guard, so to say.
Exactly right.
But so Maxx is last.
Right,
Maxx is next, right? So before Maxx goes, it passed me that some of the roster wasn't even alive. When these shit,
Yep.
that shit makes me so
It
happy.
makes me angry too.
No,
'Cause
that's-
these
that's
dumbass
great.
fucking kids don't
Oh,
understand
no.
the magnitude of what just happened in front of their eyes.
So it's funny you mentioned that. I was actually having a conversation with both of Dan's children, aka the twins, earlier today. Yeah, the twins.
That's super shitty, by the way.
What,
But
calling
we'll
them-
talk about that privately.
calling them Dan's
Yeah.
kids. Why?
Yeah, because
They look like
we'll
him.
talk about
Dan's
it privately.
kids.
No, they look like
we're
him.
gonna talk about it privately.
Oh, fuck you. Anyway, they look like him.
Yeah,
So no.
they were born in Britain.
Yeah, and they
Right.
look like him. Whatever. It's just, whatever. So yeah, it's
And he
funny.
fostered their rise.
Yeah, well, more
Like, you're
Doc,
my son.
more Doc than
Oh.
Tony, obviously.
They're
A
his.
long time I didn't even know who you mean by the twins. It
Oh, the
took me
twins
a
are-
lot to realize that
Doc,
and-
sorry, Doc and Tony.
Doc and Tony.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in private later. But I got news for you. Dan had dick of an influence on him versus me and Rust. I
my-
got news for you.
That wasn't even where I was going. That was the joke.
Dan hasn't given a shit about OCW the same way me and Rust have since it was
boy.
2011.
Oh boy. Okay, before Jake decided to pull out his pistol when I was trying to make a fucking joke about something else.
That kind of made me angry.
I don't know.
I'm
I don't know
sorry.
the joke. The reason I say Dan's kids is because they look like Dan. That was the joke.
'Cause they're-
Anyway,
yeah, well,
so
yeah,
so
they're white people.
moving, asshole. Anyway, moving on. The idea is that them being young, they actually fucking Jake went off the deep end. So my thing is with them is they actually understand OCW now, even though being young, and that reminds me much of Nate Ortiz when he joined because Nate knew more at his age than some grown motherfuckers. So I always found that to be interesting in practice to see, So the twins remind me of that because, like I said earlier, pulling back the curtain a little bit, the twins now operate at a different level. Like before, remember they had like that ladder match. I'll bring it up real quick. Quick divergence. Remember they had that ladder match and it was like, it's too long, and then they were like, defensive about it. Now, if we do that same match, it'll be way different. It'll be way better because they understood and they know and they grow. So those
I think
dudes,
that's the game issue.
no, it's not even a game issue, but it's them and as human beings developing and being fucking better. Like they've progressed. They
You're
haven't
right.
stood in one specific area.
You're right.
That's
They've
what I'm
evolved,
saying.
but I just don't think that's the best example because I'm very defensive about that particular match just because I don't think it's their fault. But you are absolutely correct in that they have evolved and they are the pinnacle of what
At
we
a
do.
young age. That's the point. Like
Yeah.
Nate, they
Yeah,
remind me of
100%.
Nate in that aspect, which is fucking amazing. And they had carried themselves as thus. Anyway, who was next? Was Maxx? Yes, go.
Yeah. All right.
He goes, aye.
There's a whole lot of stuff. Starting with the type package. All right. One thing I absolutely love, and I guess it also relates to their build, is when you see people, I guess from like pre-production era OCW, and they come back, but if they don't just come back and come in for flowers, but they actually like understand,
Like A-Mart?
and they actually get it. And I think Drago specifically has been going on a complete run. He's been going on a complete run with this story and obviously the story that Dragon has been doing. And he understands the gravity, and it's just like so well adjusted. And I'm glad Drago can get over, what they had to in order to get back into the swing of things, right? And also, because I'm me, I do approve of the Bubba 07 entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Bubba.
That did make me very
Oof.
happy. And also, I'm pretty sure I said it during VP at some point, that I'm pretty sure, like, not even just Nate, but the Nate Big Boot is, like, older than people. in
Yes.
WWE.
Yes, it is.
the big boots older than John Carter.
Exactly. As for the match, though, okay, I'll say before, I thought this was going to be the main event for the show. And
There's so many to choose from, bro.
And I thought it should have been the main event. I thought like it made no sense.
I wanna actually bring up a conversation about the main event.
Oh,
when we're
boy.
done here, but let's
Go
finish
ahead,
Yeah,
the
we can talk
matches
about that
first.
later.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when the match kind of started, I kind of realized why it wasn't necessarily the main event, or part of the reason at least. The match, I wasn't necessarily super hooked because it was pretty. I'm not gonna say like what Cass said or like Drago was confident or whatever, but like Drago knew. He was like, I got this, and he wanted Nate. He wanted Nate to put his hands up, and I wanted Nate to put his hands up, and Jay was crying because Nate didn't put his hands up.
He put no,
But-
you don't understand. He put his hands up,
I-
but Drago has the answer for every question,
That's
bro.
right, but Drago,
because he's a
never lets him cut off
scientist.
the gas.
He's a
Drago,
scientist.
you know,
No,
I said Drago isn't gonna get overconfident like me,
because
which
he's
is
a
why
scientist.
Nate gotta come back in because I just started fucking around.
He just
Oh
plays
my
games where it
God.
doesn't. It
He's a
doesn't matter.
scientist. Y'all don't understand.
Jay is searching in the deepest recession.
I am not searching anywhere. There's nothing. There's no excuses.
Happened.
There's no excuses. He's a scientist.
And the gamer.
Fucking y'all, what you laughing
Okay.
about? He's a scientist. Go ahead.
Hey, stop!
Go ahead,
Stop
Max.
cutting Max off.
I'm not. You cut him off first.
as Cass said, right? He says Drago didn't get overly confident. I like partially agree, where it's like Drago wanted Nate to fight back more than he did, but he also wasn't gonna let him do it. There was no point. There's no like I gotta let him get his comeback. Anytime Nate tried to get the comeback in, it was immediately met with an answer.
Earn it.
I think, but however, I still think that like Drago could have, ended the match earlier probably. I think it did go a little long.
How dare you?
And yeah, I kind of noticed. I was like, okay, this is probably why it's not the main event. That's how I felt about it.
Okay.
I'll spit in your face, Plantain. Anybody else got anything to add?
Was he last? I know you can't keep track. I certainly can.
I think
I don't
everybody got
believe-
their stuff in.
Went long in the tooth for that reason. I think Nate had the ability to kick out and then used Brazil on the third one, so he actually
it was
went above
4
3.
finishers.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, it was 4,
That's
right?
what happens.
There was-
That's what
there
happens
was
when
a
you deal
moment
with legends.
when Max said it a moment ago. I remember a moment in the match where Nate got wake up taunted, and Drago could have easily hit a Tiger uppercut, but he wanted to go for the corner for the double Drago.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those moments where it's like just knowing OCW and knowing watchability versus like just going full shitty comp. But it's such a tough line to draw, right? Because sometimes you can get in that moment where it's like it feels forced, and sometimes you can get in that moment where it works. And I don't know if that's the moment Max is talking about, but I understand kind of where he's coming from in that vein.
I guess it makes sense, but yeah, like I said, Drago's a scientist. So
If everybody just shittily did quick play stuff, nobody would watch anything.
no, exactly. Exactly. Do we have anything else to add on this tragic event that I had to witness? I'm fighting
Yeah,
Drago.
Drake-
I'm fighting Drago next year. I'm gonna end the streak. I'm gonna beat the streak. I guess I have to do
the
it.
only thing I have
Stop
to add
laughing.
is
It's
Drago's the
not funny.
goat. Nate's never been the goat, and Drago's
Yo,
my
you
hero.
you
so.
don't talk shit. Don't talk shit. Don't talk shit.
I'm not talking shit.
You talking shit.
Don't
You
go
talking shit because you
there.
had your 1800. Don't talk shit.
Oh, we have.
Don't talk shit.
Oh, we.
Don't talk shit.
You are very bold to try and come at me with alcohol consumption based on your history.
No, because you're a bigger person, so you can consume more alcohol. But don't you talk shit. Moving right
That's-
along, we have the other segment. Drago won because he's a scientist.
Oh,
So,
yes.
yes. Don't forget about that. We have
I could never.
Boo.
Empress has
We
been
should start.
ejected.
We need to start with Cass here.
Yes. So we'll do Cass, Max. No, we'll do Cass, Sheldon, Max, Jake. Go.
This is the worst
always
timeline. Drago is a horrible person. I agree that Drago fired Drago within P3. That's his own decision. He's putting it on other people. He's terrible. Nate should have won.
Yes.
Just awful outcome. Emp deserves better.
Whoever's next, go. I forgot my
Sheldon.
order already. Sheldon, you're up.
I just like that the story with Amp and Co just came to a conclusion. I wonder now what Drago does with his new position, and yeah,
It'll be interesting to see.
All right.
yeah.
Maxie,
I think this is the only timeline. All right. None of those other timelines. They don't matter.
I don't like
They
you,
don't
bro.
matter.
I don't like you.
All right. Drago assumed the position and immediately didn't waste no time putting in the actions that needed to be done. All right. This is what the people wanted. The only thing that would have been better. is if he, brought out Tiberius Dupree. Then it would have been all gravy.
Holding
All right?
hands, saying, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, but he called in the straight Vegas PD and got escorted out because she no longer works. She no longer works here. All right?
Not just escorted, carried out.
That's because she wasn't complying.
Stop
be honest,
resisting. Stop resisting.
I really, for a moment,
Hold
I
on.
thought she would beat up the police guy.
Yeah.
But
No.
Did you see the
You're
size of that guy?
You're not
No
wrong
chance.
in assuming that.
Nah, this is them. She's not gonna fucking low blow a fucking 7 foot fake ass Shaquille O'Neal, as she said.
Yeah, she did call that out. Yeah, and just to put a bow on it, like the fact that none of us between Dupree, Imp, me, and I don't know what Imp told them, but like between Imp, me, Dupree, and Drago with this whole storyline, the fact that none of us talked to each other about results, like none of us knew what was going to happen. I've spoken to Drago a bunch, and we're like super committed on Tara being the winner here, and we're like, oh, it's just super hopeful. I got a lot of DMs after the match ended. The fact that none of us communicated about it and that it worked out so perfectly in story was so great. Because if Tara's going to lose here, then the best result is Dupree coming back before the match, Tara losing, and then Empress getting ousted anyway. Like Rust's whole thing is nobody leaves happy, but it's poetic. It's perfect. It's the best way to run this thing without anybody knowing
I sure
anything
didn't leave
before.
happy.
Yeah, fuck you, Cass.
We touched on everybody else. Did we skip somebody?
I think
Yeah, I
Jake
think
had his
that's
face.
Oh, Jake, did you get your piece in, or you? I think you did. Just
I guess
get
he-
your
he's
piece in.
just there right now.
That was my piece.
No, I loved it. My favorite bit was being carried away and she's yelling in she's cursing in Japanese. Again, the little things, bro. It's the smallest details.
Yep.
The smallest. I don't understand how this fucking dummy is so good at this who doesn't watch wrestling. But here we are.
It's so difficult to be retired with my favorite character of all time and still be just so happy with how it turned out. That speaks volumes of the
You
people
shouldn't
that-
have
that
fucking put the
facilitated
retirement
it.
on the line. You should have just put something else on the line.
Hey, comp is comp, baby.
Yeah, but that's you. That's your
I
fucking
wanted to
choice.
win. I wanted to fucking win. But because
Yeah, well.
I didn't win, I gotta fulfill the step.
Just do Leon Hart. That's
And
all.
Jake and I hold firm on what we do. I will not be challenging for the CCW title.
Exactly
and Tara
right.
Is gone.
Exactly right.
Wait, ever? I thought it was only when
we know. No,
No, ever.
that was the
No.
stake.
It was
See,
ever.
The clash
Ever.
match was Quartz versus Cass. Cass could never check because that was the whole thing, right? Because it dated back to Lucian 14 when he cheated Rex with B17.
Yes.
Into winning that thing. It was the whole thing was to get Cassianity away from the CCW title. Kassidy Alexander Hayes as an entity can no longer challenge for the CCW World Championship ever in his entire career, and Tara Turris is now fired from OCW. We respect the
Yes.
stipulations that we put into place.
That's how it's
they
supposed
hold
to be.
they have their own honor code.
Yes, that's how it's supposed to be.
The honor has been adhered
Yeah,
to.
do
Sheldon.
it or don't. Basically, is what it boils down to. So we're coming close to the end. So we have our main event. We have the main event hype package, which so again, I said that the Doc one was my favorite, but this well, for me number one. But this might also be number one, number two, just because for two reasons. Number one, it was emotional terrorism motivated, which is the quick story. So side story. So I said, hey Rust, I didn't see your intro video. Do you have one? He said, no, I don't. And I said, why not? He said, because as I told you earlier in the week, my whatever program crashed and it wasted 7 hours of footage and my life. I hate everything. I said, oh, that's terrible. Sorry to hear that. How about this? I'll give you an extra day. Just make sure you give me at least 45 seconds. ... from Russ. ... It's okay. Just give me the footage, Rust. I'll do it. Fuck you. I'll have it on Saturday rather. And here we are. So yeah.
Yeah, he messaged me too that he messaged me that his program crashed. I said it's okay if it's. He tried. He said to me he tries to recover it, and if not, it's not, and that's what all I got. And after I think a couple of hours, I got a link here. I have something done. Yeah.
Yeah.
This motherfucker lost 7 hours of work.
Yeah.
And like, first and foremost,
He did it back. He did it. He did redo it.
it-
Did in a day.
Like, the fact that it's taking you 7 hours, you need to fix your workflow, Rust. But just the idea that he lost 7 hours of actual work
And I made him do it
still
again.
said, "Fuck you, Jay. I'm gonna put my foot down and make this happen." That's why he's the GOAT of the production era.
Yeah.
And nobody's gonna convince me otherwise.
Like sorry, Sheldon. Like, but quick preview. Last night, him and Russ like embarrassed me in front of Maxx after the podcast. So, like, just a lot of slander, slanderous accusations. Was like a lot of slander. I think
Jay's gonna be negative here.
A lot. Like they gave me a lot of slander. Thank God none of you people got to witness the amount of like slander that was thrown at my, like, it's crazy after all I've done to get this amount of slander
all I've done
from
you
two
didn't
people,
just say that.
From two people I've held so highly in my life. Like I hold Jake Allen and Russ Cole to very high standards, and for them to just speak ill of me in such a way in front of Max Edwards, who I also held very highly, and who also shitted on me as well. It was a dark time last night. Y'all missed it. It was terrible. It was disgusting. But they both went on how they both piled on me on how I'm an emotional terrorist. And it's crazy. Like, I don't know where this energy came from. But long story short, I guess me and my terrorism, my emotional terrorism.
This is a weird relationship. You don't know the fucking half of it, Sheldon. You don't have a fraction of the idea.
So apparently my emotional terrorism is what led to Russ Cole putting out a really good video for Sheldon Tremblay versus Russ Cole.
Your emotional terrorism has fueled my entire
You're
career.
welcome.
You fuck.
You're fucking welcome. So yeah, no, good fucking good video. Fan fucking tastic match. Russ, when Russ did his first thing, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing with all these 5 randos? And he's like, listen to me. Trust me, I want to build new stars. And I was like, ugh. And then Sheldon won. I was like, okay, this is not awful. This is Sheldon. Okay, Sheldon not won. And then Sheldon won. So a lot of people want to build new stars. Russ went ahead and did it. So shout out to him, you French fuck. He's sleeping now. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it was good.
Hey, I got news for you. I'm putting him over huge in this fucking main
Who,
event,
Russ
so
or Sheldon or both?
Yeah,
Matter of fact, we'll start with you.
Russ.
We'll start with you, Cass, Max, and then Sheldon last, and then we can wrap things up. Go ahead.
All right, so let's talk about the hype package. Motherfucking shit! Like, this guy, I knew he lost 7 hours of footage. 7 hours of work, rather. It's hard to really try and quantify that, because if you lose 7 hours of work, you have your work in front of you. You know what you tried to do. So recreating it won't take 7 hours. It's not really.
You told me to go fuck myself.
But still, and you should go fuck yourself.
That's not nice.
Right now. So like Russ Cole, the whole hype package told the whole story of making new stars and everything. This is why OCW is great. The whole organic nature of it. Rust came into, and I've done this too. You think back to the OCW World Title match. Thomas Archer, Justin Jess, Katie Angelo. I don't remember who was the fourth. Was it you, Cass? Cass, you were in that match, weren't you?
Was he?
What?
Yes,
match?
I think it was the #1 contenders match before Consequence, right after Resolution. It was Justin Jest, Katie Angelo, and basically whatever. I'm not going to worry about this. But
It's fine.
Booking a #1 contenders match as a world champion is super fun, because you're like, I'm in a position right now where I can decide who fights me, but I have so many potential candidates that I'm going to put them in a single match. And like the way I did it was, I was hoping for Justin Jest. KD ended up winning. I squashed him on Consequence, and it led to the Bobby Minio thing, which that's the organic thing that we love. But for Russ Cole, I knew what he was doing when he booked this match the week before. He's like, Tacitus and Sheldon Tremblay. He like put all these different people in it that were like future upcoming stars. Like, oh shit, I know what he's doing. I love this. That's why it popped so hard when we initially called the match and Sheldon won.
Crazy.
I really did not want Tacitus to win. Him,
that match, like fucking. There was a whole like. when
Yeah,
he
good
booked it,
one.
I'm
was
like,
bad.
what the fuck are you doing?
No, but I
Trust
think
me,
there were. I think
sensation.
that. Right. That's the position I'm talking about. So like being in a position where you can just be like, trust me, Jay, and Jay goes, okay. That's when you know, right? That's because it's hard to get Jay's approval. Like he doesn't even approve me right now. So that match was awesome, and the fact that it led up to this, the hype package is incredible.
Yep.
We're gonna talk about the main event after this, I assume.
Yes.
Like in the how it's decided, but this match was hot as fuck, and you can't deny that. If you were in the viewing party, you can't even hear yourself think. Everybody's screaming over themselves the entire time. It's just shouting. The Hotel Berlin #1, Hotel Berlin #2, Castles Farcacosa. Like it was a main event pay-per-view match.
Yeah.
I would be so bold to say that the CCW title match on night 1 was technically better, like just from a technical standpoint, like a match standpoint, the whole history and everything. But the moment cannot be beaten for this, and that's why I love it as night 2's main event. Russ Cole is the greatest person that has ever graced OCWFED's history.
He's one of the
super
fucking
biased.
greatest handlers of all time, to be honest.
I'm super biased about it, but this is my soul. He's my fucking soulmate. Honestly, I love this guy so much. He has it all figured out from start to finish. He has had it figured out since before he was pretending to be Jay White when he was a rookie, and now that he is his own person, like all of this shit. I don't even talk to him very much anymore because we're so separated in our canon at this point, but. For him to put this 5-way together, the organic build that we haven't talked about Sheldon a lot, but the organic build Sheldon had from the Prodigy to Sanctum to longest reigning tag champion to the point that he's at now, it has such impact, such organic nature to it that it doesn't feel like it's out of place, doesn't feel forced, doesn't feel anything like that. Russ Cole is the GOAT. I love the man. I'd kiss him on the mouth right now if he was
Stop
here,
doing
but
white guy fun. You can't kiss him on the mouth, but he is literally.
I'll wait. I'll wait till I go to Paris to kiss him on the mouth and take a picture.
Stop trying to kiss. Like I said though, he's literally one of the greatest handlers of all time. Like that's a stupid using GOAT is annoying already, but he really is one of the greatest handlers in pound for pound.
The GOAT. Don't powder his pussy.
I'm not.
He's not the GOAT.
I'm saying
not
handler.
Yet.
Handler. He is one of the greatest.
I love him. I could talk forever about this, but
he's smart. So who's next on the docket from Jake's fucking love fest? Fuck you, I'm drunk.
Is that what people call a French kiss?
Yeah, go ahead, Cass. Go ahead, Cass. Fucking Sheldon. Fuck you, Sheldon.
Yes, Sheldon. Yes.
A French kiss twist.
Package. I heard ahead of time that Russ was bullied into making a
oh my God, really?
Damn.
And I'm
he was.
glad.
He was.
Damn, I feel bad.
It happened,
why do you feel bad, Sheldon? Apparently, I'm an asshole.
Well, no, it's not his turn yet. Let Cass.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It deserved the hype package. I'm so glad that everything came together so well. Like it showed every step for Sheldon, the growth, everything else that he's done beforehand, and of course, it shows the interactions that they've had in the feud. It was just wonderfully put together.
Someone pick it up because he just got quiet. Is it Max? Go ahead, Max.
Yeah.
I hate speaking for 14 minutes and then Cass gets his whole thoughts out in 90 seconds.
Because he's just saying Cass is a fucking robot.
I know.
Whatever.
I can't deal with it.
I'm gonna have to give the whole world of different takes right here.
Give your spicy takes.
You're about to
Fucking.
see. So you're
I
about
want
to see
some
me
spice.
hop off the fence and then get right back on it. First off, all right. Well, what we acknowledge happened is Jay basically let it play out. That's basically what Jay did, and that's basically what I had to do. All right, because I think a lot of people were kind of questioning the 5-way, and then when Sheldon won, it was like, okay, it's getting better.
That works.
It's on the upward trajectory. Could have been worse.
Oh yeah.
However, when it comes to like this match being the main event, I really felt like it really should not have been the main event.
No.
And it wasn't necessarily because of the build. The build was fine for what they had, for what they could have done. It was more so I just really hated the timing of it. Where you had Sheldon, who just came out this really long tag reign, right? and then he just, instead of like he come out the tag reign and then go into this feud, he came out the tag reign and then changed his character, and then went into this feud. So I feel like that made the dynamic so awkward. Because if he was still a part of Sanctum and he was still like leading the charge, and it was like this would have been like his crowning moment, and he was the face, and Russell could have just been healing it up. I feel like that would have been like the most organic, I guess, the most like comfortable, storytelling. But the fact that he switched and joined Cassidy, there's like diverging things. That probably has to do with, as Kaz kind of alluded to, them having to like pivot. Now we have Sheldon who's trying to like establish his brand new character. Right? He's trying to like turn. He's on like, I'm a heel now. I'm a guy. But then you also have this like he's getting pushed immediately into the championship story. So then by the end of it,
and people love his handle.
Yeah,
that's what makes
no
it
matter
tricky.
what, people still like love him. And the only really like heel moment he had was like on the go home when he hit Russ with that first hotel roller. Because before that, when he was beating Quartz, everyone was like loving him because he didn't get the chance to like be a heel.
Exactly.
Push. That's why I feel like the timing for this.
I should have whooped
really
his
bad.
ass. This is all my fault.
No, if you whooped his ass, it would have been worse. Because then we would have wanted to see him win.
You're right.
Oh my god, I hate this.
So yeah, I was really not a fan of the timing, but with I think it would have been worse if he lost. Because then if he lost, it would have been like, well, he turned heel and now he lost. What is there to do? But I think with him winning, now we got to see what happened. What is this new Sheldon character? What is this Sheldon character now? Not only where he's evil, but he's evil and he has the crown for the company. Now I think there's still some nice avenues to see.
The evil is reinforced. That's what it is.
God.
He turned evil and he got greeted with pleasure.
Fuck you, Cass.
Oh my god, fucking Emp is doing it again. Oh my god.
Oh, see, now I'm getting pulled into this.
Oh my god.
I agree entirely. I think we should let Sheldon put a cap
Sheldon
on
put a
the
cap
main
into this
event part
before
of
I
this,
lose my
before
mind.
we move on.
Does anyone want to counteract what Maxx is saying? Oh my god, she's at it again.
No, he said what he said, and I respect his stand on him.
Now give us your take, Sheldon. It's your show, King.
Giving the night was part of this. I came from the qualifying triple threat match into this. I thought it worked with Sheldon trying to prove his new standpoint in Cassidy. And I myself didn't think I would walk out of Wrestlution with the World Championship.
Yeah.
Never. Like, I was super surprised that it ended like this, but it worked. I could work with Rust. We had the segments with the Sheldon is supposedly not ready yet. And after it, he beats Quartz, he beats Rust, and now he has to show that he can carry the World Championship.
Fair.
And if we want to be clear here,
go ahead.
I booked this as somebody who has staff rights. I booked Turmoil, whatever. I 100% knew that I was going to fight Sheldon before Lucian. I didn't know how we'd get there. Nick came to me with this Solomon Kane idea before, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so perfect. Let's make it happen. I was always going to fight Sheldon. My plan was to put this fucking little 18-year-old little dick down before he fought Russ Cole at Resolution.
He's 23.
But yeah, no, I don't give a shit how old you are. You're a dumbass little kid with a tiny dick and no pubes. I planned on burying you as that person on the show, and what ended up happening is I got fucking mutilated and I got my head taken off. You can claim the whole head wraps or whatever. Sheldon beat my dick into the dirt and embarrassed me as I should have been. And that was such a perfect moment because it was like that moment where I'm like, okay, you want to fight Russ Cole Resolution? I'm going to fucking put you down. And then he put me down. And I'm like, all right, this guy's got the juice. That's why I was so excited coming into this because it was a legitimate thing. I did really plan on putting you down, but it was a squash match in the other direction.
But for the future.
Yeah,
for the future.
Hell yeah, bro.
For the future, I hope I can carry the prestige. I can carry the title. I hope it works, and if not,
We all know you will.
well, I got
We all know you will.
a lot to learn, and
You
I
got
hope
your, you
it
got
works
your
out.
fucking. He's way too fucking humble to be a heel. This is hilarious. Listen,
Yeah,
listen,
but,
Cass, you gotta give him a, first. You gotta
That's
give him
why.
a haircut.
That's
give him a
why
skin
nobody
fade.
can cheer against. That's why nobody can cheer against him. Because even with all the bullshit Kassidy puts ahead, you actually get Sheldon up here. He's not wearing face paint. He's got like the whole Castianity aesthetic, but he comes out as his own man. He's like, I am just hoping that I can give the best.
I want to do good match against
I
you
just want to
people.
do the very best for OCW. And it's like, that's not what Cass would say. I'm gonna cheer for you. I'm not gonna cheer for this fucking idiot.
Fucking. All I'm saying is fucking Riot. He better have a haircut. That's all I'm saying. Better shave the sides. What?
I always do what's best for OCW. It's just you guys sometimes don't like to hear the truth. All right.
Technically, you do, and it
all it
annoys
is.
me. It annoys me that you're right, factually.
Yeah, and
God.
he's right because the truth is that he has crafted multiple world champions.
Yeah, he really
and the
has.
people
No, he has.
so many
He really
of the
has.
people we put over tonight are a product.
No, he
of
really,
Kassidy.
honestly, he really
I'm
has
not-
put in the work.
I don't want to admit
And
it.
he
I
is
don't want to admit it.
he is also very selfless. He's always been selfless. He fucking dry snitched on a cheater. He like, I hate that I have to put him on a. Oh god, it's annoying. Jiggo's a scientist
tough.
and fuck Cass.
Sheldon
Ah.
Sheldon will bring us into a new face Castianity reign.
Oh my god, give him a hair.
That's changed.
Give him a fucking haircut.
Challenge
Shave the
accepted.
sides.
That's high shoes to fill, but if I can, I try it.
Give him a number 2 skin fade, and we just shave the sides. But yeah, no, congratulations,
so-
Sheldon. What?
Jay, do you want to talk about the controversy surrounding the main event positioning on the card?
I mean, yeah, sure. So I don't really whatever.
Let's get your unfiltered takes on this because
So-
I have some takes as well.
So a point was brought up to me that makes sense regarding the booking of like the main events. So one of the contentions is that women never main event, and that is true. Now in my head, I always do the method that I go by is like legend or championship. That's it. So if those criteria aren't met, my brain does initially say, oh, hey, this should be a main event because it doesn't fit those 2 criteria. So a point that was made was Emp suggested that she should be the fucking main event. And I was like, that's not a bad idea, but not really. So it didn't happen. So I've been pretty much been called a piece of shit for like the past week. And it's been reminding me of dealing with Daniel, a.k.a. Paul Pugh, in 13 or 12. I forget the year. So the funny thing is that being said, Texas, thank you, I'm Texas Pig. So fucking fast forward and Max saying that this match maybe should have not ended the show. Not a bad match, but I don't know like if I agree or disagree because I think about it like this: when we book the show, it's booked a certain way, but then when we actually see what happens with the match, it's like how do we proceed? So like let's put some examples. All right, so let's say we put the Terra match last, right? Okay. So that would mean we would have the Drago match before that, okay? Would it be the second match prior to it? So second before last? That's kind of weird, but okay, fuck it. Or do we move it further down? So that would be the third from the last. So that would mean what match? That would be match 6, right, Jake? 6, 7, 8? That'd be match 6, which is okay. It's 2 legends, match 6, whatever. But then that being said, why would Drago wait till the end of the show to do what he has to do? So like there's a whole balancing act between everything that goes into it. So, and then on top of that, how does it end? Because let's say we do it on night 2. On night 2, then it kind of makes sense because first Emp makes everyone sad. So like Russ would say, no one leaves happy, which, you know, whatever, because Terra's gone. But then Drago shows up at the end to say you're fired. That might be something. That could be a potential thing, I guess. But at the end of the day, it's a delicate balancing act. So while Emp does make a good point, it's something to think about. It's something to learn in the future. Like it's no one's ever going to be happy, but at the end of the day, you should just be fucking happy you're on Lucian. Like certain people are just happy to fucking be booked on Lucian. And then we got certain people that are like, where am I on the card, brother? Which is, whatever. You get this the things you got to deal with sometimes, but it's just these decisions
into the area that I
these decisions aren't made haphazardly, basically. So at the end of the day, my take is you should just be happy to fucking be booked on Lucian to begin with, because it's fucking tight to begin with. Now you can't, but then if you think about it specifically, Emp's already main evented like 3 pay-per-views.
So yeah, that is true. But so I want to hear more perspectives. So Cass, Maxx, Sheldon,
fuck it, we going deep before we go.
The whole thing here is, the idea is that some people think that we just randomly default to CCW and OCW championship as the main event. That has been the case since we turned to 2 nights. I think that's leaving out an unbelievable amount of nuance to the decision-making process. But if you were to book a main event here, let's get each of your takes. Do you think there was any match on this card, night 1 or night 2, that could have replaced the CCW or OCW title matches?
Being the person among us that is here the longest, yes, that's not always been the case. It's been more of a, or maybe it just hasn't been the case in certain champions. I, amongst my record-setting reign, faced the person Jay wanted me to face, and because it didn't build the way he wanted, I didn't main event as OCW champion, and neither did the CCW title. Nate main evented. So yeah, I can 100% see other things main eventing, but it also depends on the overall build of the situation. I'm glad that Sheldon got a main event so young, and the match was great. I could have seen no one goes home happy on night 1 with Emp winning as the main event of night 1 even. But I mean, Bingo versus Rex was a great match. And not to sit the fence.
Really? You sitting on a fence? Never. That's not even being sarcastic, because he's not.
No. I'm honestly, I'm genuinely surprised to hear that.
That's
as well.
crazy.
I can see a multitude of different things happening, and the biggest built match for production and time put in for the period of time that led to Lucian, it would be Empterra, but also you then take Nate Drago, could easily main event, just like many of Nate non-title matches have main evented, simply because of the history and pedigree of Nate and Drago. So this was streak versus position, which almost was career. So that is top tier. And then you have the titles. Be it may, Rust and Sheldon might have been actually amongst the 4 matches up for this debate, might have been the weakest build, but then you take the moment at the end, it's the biggest pop. And I know from other matches like the Chamber versus H2O and Trey, had results gone differently, the Chamber would not have been on night 2, it would have been night 1 main event. And maybe the moment of Trey capturing the title would have gone night 2. So I know the layers that go on top of Jay's thinking of what should go last. They're very hard decisions to make in this case.
It's like I'll let someone else speak after, but it's like a Tony Khan situation where where Tony Khan would just put his head in the sand and fucking hope for the best. I have to literally make these decisions, and they're not always going to be popular. But literally, when I thought about it, I was like, this is what's going to happen, and then hopefully this is good. The only if was the Sheldon Russ match, but then when watching it, that immediately rectified the situation. Like, oh, this is a fucking great match anyway. So like, it's like I'm in a no-win situation to begin with. So the thing that the
last 3 matches, I would have put Empterra in that mix. So the fact that it fell below.
So here's the other thing about that too. Another reason why I fell below also was because if you notice, at one point during the Terra match, during the Terra Emp match, we mentioned that the women's match is going to be later on at night. Had that not been said, Because I don't remember when it was
done. But I think
done.
you can. No. But you can't disqualify that. I have to cut you off here and break out because we have done matches in the past where we have recorded them in a certain way, but you have asked me to edit out certain mentions so that we can adjust them on the fly. So you can't just default to, well, we called it this way, so we had to do it. That is not a good enough excuse for me. You need a better reasoning. So I'll let you give
just buried
I'll let you
right
give
out.
that better reasoning. No, I'm not burying it at all. Like, it's just not a legitimate excuse. So I want you to give a more legitimate excuse right now because they do exist. Because I agree with how the card played out. I am on your side here. I just don't want you to give a bad reasoning to the people who disagree.
I mean, I feel like you're not with this comment, but okay. But then, and additionally, on top of that, it's also the given what we already had. We already had the, where would you put the Drago Nate match? Like, it can't technically go before. Like, I mean, it could, but it's like it shouldn't. I felt
why would I what? The built-in excuse immediately for it going before and why he would wait. He could still remove her from a position of power, and she still has to wrestle her match. You wouldn't fire her from the company.
Well, if you want to do nuance,
and that happened already with Tiberius Dupree coming out before the Terra Imp match anyway. So the idea being that they could have adjusted on the fly depending on the result, which is what OCW is based around in its principle, is not a good excuse. You can't just say like, oh, well, Drago submitted this scene that would have made sense here. Like,
they did too. So
because Drago would have found a way to make it work regardless. So again, the same thing that I said before.
I'll go.
That's
You can
not
go
a
back.
valid
You can
excuse.
go back to
I
me.
need a real excuse.
You can go back to me, but go ahead, Max, because Max said his thumbs are twiddling. Go ahead, Max.
All right. So
fucker.
The way I see it, I think there's probably, I don't think the way the card was booked, I don't think it was bad. Let's just get that out the way. But if it was like perfect fantasy, there's like two options, right?
Oh,
the
God.
one option is if you have to go with the Drago route, like with Drago firing M, then what I would have done, I think overall, I think Bingo and Rex, I think that's locked. I don't think that loses its spot. I think if you want to go the Drago and Nate route, like where Drago fires M, I think you can put that main event night 1. And then you move Bingo to night 2. And then you probably have either Emp and Terra, or you can have Sheldon and Rust co-main night 2.
But do you see how like all the do you see how like all the pieces are moving at the same time? When Jake knows, what did me and Jake do? Hey, what's the card here? This is what we got right now. Let's do it at de cantazo, like we did like 6 a pop. Like that's the other thing too. Like we don't stop it. Okay, let's readjust because we're gonna move this around. We just kind of like we have to get this done. We got it done. That's the other thing about it too.
Yeah, and it's Wednesday, 4 days before Lucian airs, and I have to render 16 matches before that. Like, I'm not calling 2 matches. It's just not going to happen. So this has been a thing from the beginning of the production era. Like, Jay and I fight about the card order. There are times where I'll edit certain mentions out to make it make sense, or there will be times where we go into a match that saying, hey, let's not make any references to what has happened on this show so that we can put this wherever we want it. But there is never going to be a situation where we call a whole card and then go, oh, let's redo this one because it would fit better here.
Yeah, never.
I would agree. All right, but that's if you wanted to keep that Drago firing in.
Yeah.
However, what I would have done, or not that's what I've done. You can't predict it. You can't predict it. I think what would have been, what should have happened, right, is you have the
there's a lot of stuff moving around though. Go ahead.
All right, and then this second option, the night 1 stays completely the same. Night 2 is the same, except it's the same order, except after M's match, that's when you have Tibby come out, and then he does his thing instead of early in the night. He gets that honor, and then you have Sheldon and Rust. They do their match. He gets that moment, and then Nate and Drago main events, and hopefully it's a better match for my sake.
But the match stays the same though.
I know, but the thing about if you're like Tony Khan,
because you're assuming. That's the thing. Like I have to take all these other things into account. Like I just can't assume. So it's like I kind of go into, like I said before, my process is I sometimes if I'm iffy on where something should go, I'll ask, hey, what did you think about your match? And then I'll go with that, because usually generally people have like, my chat. Fuck you, Che. Oh yeah, Che posted Rush, Sheldon, Terra. Yeah, we saw your booking. Nobody cares, Che. Fuck off. Sorry, that's rude. But yeah,
that's kind of rude.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You got the worst out of me. Like, because the thing is, it's the joke I made earlier with Jake is that we make it look easy, we make it look seamless. There's a lot of thought that goes into these kind of things. Like, it's not just these are my friends, they're gonna go on live. No, it's just like, hey, what should go? And
that's the important part. There's a lot of thought that goes into it, and you put a lot of thought into the build. If you're thinking about this as a booker, as Jay should do, in terms of, I don't know what's going to happen. And obviously in pro wrestling, you do know what's going to happen, but this is OCW. So Jay walks into this 16 match card. Think about it for a moment. Pull yourself away, and I'm talking to you, Olivia. Pull yourself away from your own situation and think that this motherfucker has to perfectly position 16 matches like in a way that would work for everyone. Obviously, we all have our own preferences, but think about that. That's what he has to do. So there is an obvious factor here that the CCW and OCW and women's, all 3 world championships are heavily considered in all of these. The women's championship is thrown out immediately because it does not have nearly the same history or emotion or anything that the other 2 do. So then you have to consider the non-world championship matches, which is to what Jay said earlier and is what you're using as a weapon against him right now, the word legend. Legend status. Drago Nate is a big one here. So you're going to consider that. You're going to consider the other highly emotional things that are going into it. But you also don't know any of the results. These matches could be total dog shit. They really could. So your question right now is, do we watch all 16 matches ahead of time and then go, now I know what I want to do? Or do you keep it blind, which is the way we do it because that's the way the best organic commentary happens, and say, no matter what the result, this would be the best way to go? So I can 100% see a world where Empress and Terra end night 2.
Or 1, specifically.
Or one, honestly. Like, either night, it doesn't matter. I continue to maintain that a Lucian main event is a Lucian main event. We are 2 nights because we have so much talent and so much on the roster to be able to justify it. We are not 2 nights so that the people of night 1 can feel shitty that they're on night 1 and the people of night 2 can feel, oh, great, I'm on night 2. Like, that's a damn thing that he puts out in the world because he wants to be cool and edgy. Like, that's not how I'm doing it, honestly. Like, he wants to do his own thing, and that's fine. It's always about making something feel more important than the other thing. And I think with where we're at in production right now, it's all super high quality. I was a part of the process with Jay to cut 26 matches down to 16. Like, we had enough for 26 Lucian matches. And especially
staff,
you compare
and staff, not just you. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And you want to compare it to 2011, 2012, 2013, pretty much any year that wasn't 2019 or up. Like, you didn't have that many stories to cut down. You had to pick matches. I was a part of a match that was on Prime. Like, there's Prime matches that are just thrown together. That's not what this is. Both nights are put together based on 26 plus matches that could happen that we have to narrow down. You're from an era where that wasn't a thing. There was 6 matches max that deserved to be on Lucian, and
garbage.
Then Jay had to throw shit on there to fill out the card. That's not how it works anymore. So you can live in your old era all you want, but keep your shit to yourself. So from the main event, there are so many ways to go about it, but I agree with Jay that the CCW and OCW title matches have the reason to end where they did. The CCW title match speaks for itself. It was unbelievable. I can't even speak to somebody who would tell me that Rex and Bingo didn't deserve to main event. night 1 or night 2.
That would be
And
night
for
1 or
night
night
2,
2. The only issue would be like the Sheldon whatever match.
yeah, but the Sheldon
turned out to be really good.
Russ match, yeah, and it ended up. That's the thing though. Like it ended up working out. It ended up being great. And if it didn't ended up being great, Jay would have considered another main event, and he probably would have picked Nate and Drago, which is fine. But the point is, it's not a default thing like you think it is. It's not a thing where it's like, oh, CCW is night 1, OCW is night 2, or OCW is night 1, or CCW is night 2. It's not default. There's a lot that goes into this. She makes a lot of good points
about
and that's
women.
why I'm trying to like draw.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to draw a line in the middle. But like, you can't say like, oh, you just disregarded the women. The women didn't they didn't deserve to be a main event this year. Like, there's a point where you can say like, yes, we should consider all matches, but that also, yes, the women's world championship match had no reason to be the main event. Like, absolutely none.
That being said,
and I know she's talking about the Tara Imp match.
Because remember, 7-8 months, and then on top of that, the doc. So the fucking doc.
It was a lot.
The doc
I was a part of it.
You didn't even know about the doc. When the doc hit, you thought it was one way and went the other, and that was also like part of the fucking, like it's not necessarily wrong. Like, it's not a bad argument. It's just that there's so many fucking factors in it that it's just like, it's basically I'm in a no-win situation, period. So I can't win regardless.
It is.
I won't win regardless.
That's what I mean.
Which
to
is
say,
okay.
Because if you don't put Sheldon in that spot, knowing what happens, and like, because when I was world champion and whenever we did this card argument, like every time I'm like, whenever the situation arose, I'm like, put me as the opener. I love being the opener. Like, just a hot opener, like the anniversary 17 against H2O, anniversary against Rex, Road to Glory against Rex. Like, I'm always willing to do that spot because it's a great spot to have. But the main event, if you're justified in having it, I just don't think we're at a point where Jay is defaulting to anything. I feel honestly disrespected on Jay's behalf that anybody would assume that he's disregarding these other worthy matches and just immediately just putting CCW, OCW in there. I just don't think that's the case. I don't want Empress to think that's the case. I don't want anybody to think that they just said, no, fuck it, Tara Imp is never going to be considered, or this Nate Drago's never going to be considered, or this is never going to be considered. Look at look at the main events that happened before it was 2 nights. Like, at 13, there was no world title. It was Nate, Pugh, and Tiberius Dupree. Like, there was no world title on the line. It's not a default thing.
Well, look at the
There's
chat.
so much nuance and complex that goes into it. I know I haven't really looked at it. I can't focus on 2 things at once at this point, but
I think at this point
I'm caught in the middle. I really am.
You can go night, Sheldon.
Sorry, Sheldon.
Yeah,
we kept you up very late.
Yeah, but I think at this point I am out because I have no knowledge in card position.
So-
I'm just happy that I was there, so I think I drop out for this one.
Congratulations, Sheldon. I appreciate you.
So number 1, congratulations, and number 2, remember what I told you: keep your DMs closed for a couple of days.
Yeah.
All right, Poppy.
So and Empress said it.
Bye-bye.
She said it.
Bye-bye.
He said he defaults to title and legends, and you did say that that's your main priority, but that's not the default. And another part that is a problem with this is even in real life, like women's wrestling lagged behind men's wrestling in the Western place that we live in, and it shined through in OCW. Like, it lagged behind. They used to call women's wrestling bombshells, like the dumbest fucking thing ever.
I mean,
so like, it took a while. Like, that's just progression. That's human progression. And at this point, the women's division, that's why I put over the Jasmine Caffey, Zoe Cole, Furiosa thing so much, is because they focus more on the evolution of the women's division. So I just think it's late. I hate to use the word lazy, but I just don't think it's justified to just paint Jay in the light to say he would never consider a match like this, because I don't think that's true. He definitely did. And there was a lot of other factors that went into it, and painting him into that corner is not correct. That's the way I feel
regardless of what happens.
But I do agree with all
another-
of the points that she's making.
Yeah, there's another coin to it. That's her main gripe, which is if something this rich, just because it doesn't have a title and it's women, couldn't main event, then nothing can for women, because you two did.
And I agree.
This is the story.
And I agree, but I don't think that it's. I just don't think that it's. This can't main event. I think it can. It could, but it just didn't this year.
The simple premise to put it is it could, but given everything that was happening, it was hard to like. Basically, it's not the first nomination of what should go. Basically, like because there's other factors that go into it. So if it was done in retrospect,
I also don't think it takes
away
from. I also don't think it takes away from anything that happened on the show. Like what one comment that really actually upset me is when Empress was like, "All this for nothing." Like you think it's for nothing? Like I'm putting, that shit kind of upset me a little bit because it's not for nothing. It's a high-profile Lucian spot. Everybody was losing their fucking mind. And like there's 16 matches on a card. To say it was all for nothing is a slap in the face to a lot more people than Jay. Like me, I didn't think it was for nothing. I thought it was amazing and was perfectly placed. It could have main evented, that's fine, but the fact that it didn't main event to say it meant nothing is
9. Ken said it took him 8 years to main event. It was 9, Ken. Remember we counted him. We were like, he needs this. Yeah, it took him 9 to get a main event.
I'll stop shouting over people now because I'm interested to hear what other people think.
No, we're gonna wrap up soon, but yeah, well, we should be wrapping up soon because we're about to. Actually hit 3 hours, fucking unfortunately, because you diverted. So like, fuck it, might as well go for it. But yeah, it took Kent 9 years to main event. But then on the flip side, there's other people who've been here who've pretty much got a main event, like not within quickly, but like pretty within like 2, 3, 4 years or whatever. Like there's no
within 5.
Yeah,
I think Sheldon now is within
3, 2,
3. Yeah, it's like 2.5.
2.5. Yeah. I know you got yours pretty within 4 or 5. I think.
5. Yeah.
Yeah. It took Tibby 9. Pew. I think Pew was about 7 or 6 or 7. I think. Something like that. I must set myself because I'm saying nothing because we put 8 months of work topped out by a random match that we was picked from. Multi-man could have gone anyway.
All right.
I mean, yeah, go ahead, Max.
I'm gonna say, in my mind, Lucian ends with Nate throwing his arm up. That's where I would have it.
But then you can't.
I think to this argument, we can't say that like women can never main event. That's like implies that they've never main evented like a pay-per-view.
Which they have.
They main evented the last pay-per-view. They've main evented back-to-back pay-per-views. It's more of like when you have it's not like when Jade says he defaults to legends or titles, that's not a gendered argument against women because there is a women's champion and there are female characters that are deserving of legend status. So I don't think it should be like a given that a woman main events a night. It should just be like, well, in this instance, you have to treat it like a card by card basis or a night by night basis, where it's like, what should main event this card? And I think, like I said, you could make the argument that it should have main evented, but I don't think it is the strongest argument.
I mean, it could definitely, especially with what happened, but just after the planning was done and everything, that's how it fell. It fell to the cards, honestly. Like again, it's a fucking weird balancing act that's what go in. Like there's no perfect answer. So if anything, like I always tell people to hold their L. I'll hold my L. It's fine. I'll hold my L, and it is what it is. And just gotta do better fucking next year. So that's how it goes. But I'm not gonna fucking just default and put a women's match at the end just because low women. Like it's gonna have to be good. Like the M Terror match, 100% could have. It just didn't. Because there was other fucking matches to do it. So
there were other elements.
Yeah, there's like a lot
of other moving pieces.
But the fair point should be made though, like when ending a match, like that wasn't one of the considerations in the initial booking. That's 100% true. Like I didn't consider it, not taking into consideration all that went into it. So that's a valid point.
So if that's the stance that we have, then that's the critique. The fact that when you were putting the initial card together, you never even for a moment considered that could be the main event. That is where Empress is completely justified and valid.
No, she's right. I told her she's right. She's 100% right. But then when you look at the scope of everything, like, it probably should have. But by that point already, it was already like too far gone anyway because of all the separate moving pieces. Because at that point, it's like, how do you paint that picture without having to restructure the entire card? Because at that point, I want it to be night 2. but then it couldn't. It would have to go night 1 at the end, and then that would mean that the CCW would probably have to go night 2 at the end, and OCW would have to go night 1 at the co-main or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like instead of moving one piece, you would have to move like 5.
I get it, but that's why I don't think that is valid at all, because we've done this many times. We have moved things.
We haven't moved
around.
like fucking 5 pieces though.
Yes, we have. We've literally gone into pay-per-view saying let's not reference anything. Like that's what the first half of production era was, because we just went in and said let's just call this match. Let's not reference anything. Let's not give any extra flavor. And let's do it, and that way you can move things around where you need to do it. Recently, we have been more confident based on the builds and based on what has been given to us that we have built a card and then we go in and call them and are able to reference things that happened in the past. So to say that, like, I don't know what's going to happen, so I put them here is one thing, but to pretend that it's a logistics issue is illegitimate to me, because it's not. We've done it in the past, and we've done it in the past. So if that was your intention, then we could have done it. And I'm just gonna spill the beans here for you, and hopefully this makes Empress feel better. Like you said after we called some of those matches, you're like, I'm considering putting Empress Terror at the main event. You're like, what logistically would go into that? And like at that point, because it was all done, we're like, there's no way. Like there's so much shit in commentary that we've called with the Drago segment, like with all of this, it was just like, it's not going to work. So you can't pretend that it was never a consideration. And that is the point I'm trying to drive home, is I don't want Empress or anyone else to think that it's a default. I don't want anybody to think that we look at the card and just go, oh yeah, the men's title's main event, because that's just not the case. Like there's a reason Terra Turris and Empress main evented Consequence. There's a reason War Games main evented Road to Glory. This shit, when it earns its spot, it earns its spot. But there's obviously no doubting that the women's spots, based on progression in real life that has seeped into this digital world that we're trying to recreate around real life, is trying to catch up. That's just how it goes sometimes.
Pretty much, like I said,
it's hard. I'm trying to set the fence. I really am,
I know you're trying to set
so
the fence, and
hard.
every time I try to defend myself, like, no, that's not why. It's like, look, at the end of the day, look, like I said before, when unlike most people, if I hold L, I can hold L. It's fine. What the fuck? Like I told him, but yeah, if it's my bad, it's my bad. Yeah, I'll hold the L, whatever. But at this point, where it's so stacked that it's so fucking difficult. But again, yeah, you have something that has an 8-month build and a fucking, what the fuck was that? That's scary. And a documentary, and it potentially could have did not what? It just, the cards didn't fall that way. And if you take offense, number one, fuck you, but number two, my bad. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
And
basically.
Jay, I don't want your defense to be you should be happy to be on Lucian.
Oh, you should be though.
Because you should, but like it kind of just it's a real shitty response to somebody who's put in more work than 90% of the people in the Fed.
Fair point.
Has done.
Fair assessment. Very
so
fair.
For it to just be like, I could have put you on Turmoil 300 is such a shitty way to operate.
That's how you motherfuckers think. I know. God damn it.
I know, but I don't want you to do that. So that shouldn't be your answer. But it is very tough to be in the position that you're in, and like you said, it's a lose-lose. If Terra Imp ends this main event in night 2, then you have people shitting on you in this same segment that Sheldon's big moment didn't main event, or that like whatever you put that, like Drago Nate should have been there. So like, to your point, it is lose-lose, and it's a tough situation either way. I don't agree with Empress at all that it's worthless if you don't get a main event, and I don't agree with you at all that
what are you, Max Edwards?
The women. Yeah, and I don't agree with you at all that the women didn't do enough to get to that point. So
I think this is.
I didn't say that I didn't say the women didn't do enough.
Worthless point. It's how much effort she feels that she put in compared to the effort of other things. So her effort feels worthless if she can't get that main event. That's what she is saying right now.
And I feel that. I do, but and this is a very rare instance where I'm going to go anti-Ampere. Like, you are the main character in your own story. Drago and Nate Ortiz have put in more work than you have, I promise. And Sheldon and Russ did not, because that was a #1 contenders match. They had the world title. Jay is trying to build the most entertaining, universally entertaining card that he can do. But at a certain point, you have to realize that there are 42, and I know that there's 42 people on this show because I had to render individual card graphics for that
You sure
intro.
it's more? It's not 52?
For every single, no, it's 42. I had to render individual graphic cards.
Jesus.
I don't think that critique is saying that it wasn't worth a main event, because it was, and I already told you that Jay considered that it was because we had this conversation before. I'm just saying to keep in mind that you are not the only person putting in a shit ton of work, and you have put in a shit ton of work, and I feel over pretty much anyone else that you have gotten all of the flowers that you have deserved. But just, Imp, keep in mind,
just not Lucian, brother. Like, I'm not gonna win regardless, but either way, like I said, you know, it just didn't happen this year. But who the fuck knows what happens next year? I don't know, dude.
She's the GOAT.
I
don't want it to seem negative.
Don't call people goats. It's just I'm not going to win regardless, and that's fine. But the fact that we have, so to put before we ended and put a pin on it, because we kind of like at this weird stalemate, is at the end of the day, the way it works, it's kind of fun. Like Cass can attest to this. Tibby, if he's still here, can attest to this. We're at a point where it's not just one can do it. It's 3 or 4 or even 5 can take the spot. Whereas before it was just one because it was garbage. So that much I like a lot. Cass knows.
The fact that there's this much discussion about the main event when really it was default. Just, this is pretty much what can. Everything else can't.
Yeah.
On pure merit.
We had what? It's 4.
Different.
It's 4 total. So we would have OCW, CCW, the streak, and then also the career. So that's 4 that could 100% main event. Whereas years gone by, it would just be a Legends match, or years gone by, it would just be a title match, and then hopefully for the best. And even then, it wasn't usually the title match. It was just OCW. It wasn't like the Turmoil title, etc., etc. So it's, you know.
And I mean, you'd get shit on either way.
Oh, no.
Like what we talked about.
You would never give Chet his main event.
No, hell no. Which is amazing.
You put a legend on at the end. You put Drago Nate on the end. You get people complaining it's not a title
because it's old people.
You get people complaining that
it's
Sheldon
not a title.
Doesn't have his moment.
You
like,
put
fuck's sake, dude. Like you're getting shit on no matter what
you already had a bit of that from what I've heard. Someone definitely wrote that Nate Drago was only going to get its placement based on pedigree, not build, because there was none.
But that's not true. But again, you're never going to please everybody.
That's idiocy. This is a situation where it's actually tough, and it's not based on shitty like little dick energy saying like.
I like little dick energy. It's a great answer.
It's real. Like we're talking about doing the work here. We're talking about actually earning your spot. I mean, I feel based on the position we were middle of the card, like that is crazy for night 2. Like you heard the pop in the party, you heard the pop in the chat.
Yeah, there was a lot for those 4.
I don't think you need an arbitrary moment as the main event, but if that's your goal, I mean, I get it.
Again,
I do. It's so hard for me to set the. She does. It's so hard for me to set the fence here.
But it's like it's a no-win situation for me, and like no one, like I don't think she understands that it's a no-win situation for me. Right. But that's fine. As being the promoter, you have one, whatever. So what are you gonna do, right? It is what it is.
Others have had that goal and achieved it, so it's more. The opportunity for her to do so is smaller to begin with.
And I think doing it without the world championship is also another big factor, right? Because there's a lot of people who have just eked into Lucian main events just by nature of them
association
being involved in the world championship. And like, I can definitely see a world where Empress in October, when I pitched this when we talked about this match, and she's like, okay, like I'm gonna fucking go whole hog and to spend 8 months on this, and like the whole documentary was unbelievable to put all that work in, and to if that was your goal for the Lucian main event, for it to not come to reality, I can absolutely see why you'd be that pissed off.
That's the way.
I really do, and it's justified. It really is.
No, she's not like, it's like the conversation's civil, but she's not wrong. Because at this point she's like, well, then what does someone have to do? Because next year we might just have someone fucking roll up and get a main event. It's like, what the fuck? She's not wrong at all.
But it won't be rolling up, because what does it take?
And we are,
It
we are
takes something-
Sheldon, Maxx. So
It takes something crazy. Yeah, we are looping, but you know that's how conversation goes.
yeah, so either way,
what
we can
what
wrap
does it
up.
take? But it's not a default, right, Jay? Like, we can agree on that. You don't walk into these things going,
Well, the
main events
conversation
are
that I
this and
had
this.
with her, I did tell her that was my default thinking, but moving forward, I would be
Well, so you
modifying
fucked
that
yourself.
thinking.
So I'm on Empress's side, and you can piss off.
Thanks.
Well,
Appreciate that.
Let's actually wrap up talking about
Yes.
this main event and what we thought about it, because we've only really talked about the hype package, and then we got into
The main event was fucking great, and Sheldon left already.
No, we
I
talked
don't know.
about the main
Yeah, we
event.
talked about the
No,
main
we didn't
event.
talk about the match. We only talked
no, we didn't.
Oh, we
only
didn't?
talk about the bit. No,
Oh,
That's
we
embarrassing.
I did.
talked about the match.
Well, Sheldon got fucked because I enjoyed it, and congratulations to his fucking main event. Russ did what he had to do and built a new fucking star. Fuck you, Emp.
Yeah,
You ruined
for
everything.
Sure. For sure, the match was great. I was legitimately at some point, like after the 2 fins and waiting to see how this played out, my chest hurt. I'm fully invested in Sheldon. I wanted to see that dub, and I'm so happy that he got it done. I'm happy for him, and the fact that he was like just so pleased with the reception.
Oh, he's a fucking gem.
That was heart touching. Like, I'm so glad.
Nah, it was fucking great. I'm so happy he fucking won. Russ did what he said he did. He built a new fucking star. So it's time. It'll be time to see if it's like a new star, if it's the fucking the Derek experiment is over. But I think Sheldon has the fucking fortitude, the temerity, especially with you behind him, to like move forward and amicably, regardless of what happens.
I just give guidance. He is his own man. I'm not gonna intercept his decisions.
Yeah. Maxx, you want to add something before we wrap up? Because we're wrapping up now. Because you said we're looping, like Looper.
It's a bit unfortunate, right? Because we talk about the main event, but I think that the biggest argument this match had to be the main event was when that bell rang. I don't think there was another match. The only match on either night that was close to touching it, bell to bell, was Rex and B17. I thought it was the best match on this night.
I think it was.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw Cass under the bus here.
Wow.
And say that this was MVP. It was the most emotion I've ever heard from Cass. It was the whole range. It was the whole range of emotions. It was the most I ever heard from Cass.
Yeah.
All up and down. It was sad, excited, and I could see how much he wanted Sheldon to win, and we all wanted Sheldon to win. And it was like the taunt before, like the whole Mosque, it was just perfect for the moment and like calling for it, and it was just a very satisfying ending.
Cass, yeah, go ahead.
I also said, I said this was like the most Jay White match that Russ has ever had, and it's not to like compare it to real life, but I'm saying like it was so good, as we're like Sheldon was such a big babyface, and then but out of nowhere Russell just cut him off and had like a big old move, like a quick Carcosa or like a everything out of nowhere, and it'd be like just enough for Russ to like seem like he's about to get it, because Sheldon had it and then Sheldon like lost it, and Russ you could see Sheldon like a little frazzled. And you can see Russ kind of build his own confidence through the moves. He's like, all right, I got this. I'm back into this match now. And it was really just like so transparent what both of them were thinking throughout the whole match. And you kind of just see them rise and tide with the momentum. I thought it was just fantastic.
Jake's cursing me out, but yes, we did have the full range of fucking emotions with Cass, and that was that's for sure that Cass didn't know who the fuck won, which again I can appreciate. Loose lips sink ship, so we don't fucking know. It's fucking great. I'm really happy Sheldon won. Go ahead.
I didn't know any Cassidy result. So
Well, yeah, we all assume that because you're not a fucking loser. That's the culture we tried to cultivate over the
I love
last
when you
few
said
years.
someone a fucking loser when he gets.
I mean, it was so regular. Like going back into the day, like it was so regular from like 2016 through 18 to like that be the thing. Like, and you even used it used to be in the handbook. Like, oh, this person's worse than me and I'm better than them. So we just fought and recorded a bunch of matches until it worked out. Like we've changed it.
That's not in the handbook.
Culture. No, it used to be.
No.
When I joined, yes, it was. It was in the handbook. Bob is worse than me, so we record a bunch of times until it works out in his favor. Like that's not what OCW is to me. Like fuck that. It's super lame. And I know Cass from the very beginning, and I'm probably biased in that same sense from Cass because he's the one who oriented me to OCW and like I'm going on his ways. But like shit, the organic nature of OCW is what makes it all fun to me. The match itself for the main event did deserve its billing. It was incredible. Obviously, the result with Russ losing was what made like that extra step over the top, like ending your show on a crowning achievement, especially when you have a whole pay-per-view that has only one other title change in the tag team title match on night one, and then in night two, the only other title change is the crowning of the youngest world champion of all time. I felt it deserved its billing entirely. But all the matches impressed me so much. This, Maxx, I think, said it very well. There's so many little moments in here that you're not going to really notice. I don't think it was the best match on night two. I would give that to Drago and Nate. But based on all of the other factors, I would say it deserved its top billing.
I think the best match on the actual like Lucian total would be fucking Rex versus B17. And then the argument of like where everything else goes would be fucking crazy. But yeah, that right now is my fucking top match, most fucking def. No, good fucking match, great story. Russ succeeded in doing what a lot of people say they want to do, but they can't, which is basically build new stars. So shout out to fucking him and shout out to Sheldon. My only concern, like I said, with Sheldon is fucking like, you know, I told him close your DMs for a couple days. Fuck that shit. Yeah, but then Cass is there too
for the story and anything else.
Yeah, Cass is there too, so Cass will be there. Be like, no.
Like that's actually not how I am, unfortunately. So if Sheldon is gonna do something, Sheldon's gonna do it on his own. We've already had discussions within Kassidy that he's just like, hey, I don't want to hear none of that shit. He is his own person. He will make his own decisions, and I trust him for it. I will probably be involved, but I'm never just going to say, don't entirely do this.
I know that you won't say don't, but you'll be like, it's probably not a good idea. Because as much as you're a fucking asshole, you do look, you are like, I'm not being nice to you, whatever.
No, do it. Tell him.
On the part about Jake with the handbook, the thing he's referring to is you telling people not to do that because it was already prevalent. Or if they're going to, don't let you know.
Prove him wrong.
That you're doing it.
Thank you.
I'll disagree. No, it was in the handbook to tell people to do reduce.
See,
it was.
No.
Before I wrote it.
Tell him, Cass. He's not gonna believe. He's in his bag now.
Before you, and it was never suggested.
You were.
To do it.
You were. But you could exist before me and be like in the trenches and
he's
still
saying
be wrong.
and be wrong. Wow.
And in this case, you are.
He's so
which
confident.
Is fine. I've been wrong. I've been wrong so many times before.
And you hate it when you're wrong because I giggle and you get mad.
Everybody's mad when they're wrong, right? Like that's not exclusive to me. That's not exclusive to me. It's not exclusive to you. There's a specific line in there that said, it was an example thing. It said, if I'm Bob, we would fight 5 or 6 times and we would go with the result that made the most sense.
So do you want to know what the truth about that is? That example exists, but it's not regarding matches. It's regarding the Morrison method.
Right.
You're gonna agree. You're gonna say, look, we're not gonna have the inebriated argument, so we'll just agree to disagree. It's fine, not a problem. But that's how that worked out. It's all good though. But closing thoughts on this Lucian.
It was universal. Don't disregard me because
I'm not trying to, but you're doing your thing. So look, we're at the end. We reached the pinnacle. Where would you rank?
Wrap it up so I can yell at you after.
You cunt. So we have. So where do we think this Lucian falls at? Because I know you guys, you've been here for what, 14, 15, 16, and 17, yeah, or 13 as well, Jake.
12 through 17.
12. Oh well, shit. 12. Fuck. What about you, Max?
You think I'm still a rookie? So.
I've been here since 14.
14. Okay, so we got 12, 14 casts. You were probably here from 10, right?
10.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, so I guess where would you put these? Because I don't know if it's better than 15, but I feel like it's up there with 15. So where would you go? Where would you go with the Jake? We'll do Jake, Max, Cass, and we'll wrap the fuck up and get out of here because we're already longer than the pay-per-view. God damn it, we almost had it.
I'm not the kind of person to be able to do this. Because I would have to go back and sit there and watch.
Oh, so you can't think? Okay, so all right. So what would you?
It's impossible.
What would you feel like Lucian out of 10?
Every single Lucian that I watch is the best Lucian ever.
Aww.
So this is the greatest Lucian ever. When we talked about it, I did recognize that 15 was better than 14 and 16. And because of the situation we're at right now, I would say this was better than 15. Really? So from when I joined and anything prior to, and I'll just say this will be my stance. This is the most recent Lucian. So it's our best Lucian. And anything that happened prior to 13 is not worth consideration.
Wow. Wait, anything prior to 13 is not good?
Yeah, anything that was prior to 13 is not worth consideration as the best resolution.
Fair enough. I agree with that. Kind of hurtful, but okay. But no, I'm with it.
It doesn't have to be.
No, it's not.
There's
right.
legacy. There's history. There's matches that are
some
amazing.
of them were kind of garbage.
But you pull in the production and all the shit that
you're
do
right.
for this.
You're right.
There's nothing touching anything that
there was
comes
a
before
lot.
13.
There was a lot. There's a lot from you, from me, from everybody. Oh my god, I'm so exhausted.
Yeah.
I can't wait to take this week off. Max, you're up.
I guess I think besides this one and 15, right? I think it'd go 14 then 16, maybe. Between
14 then 16. Okay, interesting.
I'm not
take.
sure though.
Yeah, it was.
I think definitely. Go ahead,
16,
sorry.
or between this and 15. I think right now, like as Jake said, I'd probably give it to this one. But
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see next year. Next year, how I feel about those two specifically. Then we'll probably see. Because I agree with Jake. Last year, I thought 16 was like the best. So it's just like, It's kind of
so
crazy.
hard.
I wasn't big. Like 16 was. I didn't hate 16, but 15 was better than 16 to me. So I would put 16 last. 16 was
That's
like
fair,
my,
but you
was
can't
my
lie.
like WrestleMania
This-
17.
In this moment, when you're sitting here talking about it and it just happened, like it's impossible to say.
Oh no!
that
Trust me, I
you
was
felt
not happy with
something
16
greater,
right after
right?
we were done. So yeah, no, I can hold that. Cass, you're up.
I mean, I guess that's on me.
Have a terrible memory.
Well
So when it comes to specific events, if you ask me about individual things, I can recall them. If you ask me about an event overall, I can't even tell you the Lucian I main evented.
Yeah.
I can tell you the match. I can't tell you the number. I would probably say this event is better than most we've had. I still enjoyed being a part of Red Sun Rising. I think that's probably my favorite pay-per-view of all time.
Yeah, I like. There was one after Red Sun, which I say
Lucian-wise?
liked. Yeah.
Lucian-wise, this is probably the top.
I like how Max is trying to prove me wrong. Did you have your thought, or that was it? That was it, Cass? You got left?
Yeah,
That was it.
I think
As ranking
Red.
just Lucians, this is probably number one. 15
It's always
number
number.
two,
The latest is
15
always going to be
number
number one
4.
for me.
and 14.
And I-
three.
And I relate so much to what Cass said. Like I can't even remember individual events or whatever. But if you ask
Adam
me
said
about
it pretty good.
matches-
17 1A, 15 1B, which I like.
Yeah, but like there's no doubt you saying Red Sun Rising is better than 16 is a fucking that's a shit take. And
I said
only
it's not a
because-
shit take, and I said that.
It
when
is.
it
It's-
happened. Nope, we're not gonna go there.
but
We're not going there.
It's a shit take because
Here we go. Because blah, 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 blah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it had a card. No, but it doesn't have to be a negative thing, right? It's a card full
You
of
opened
people
it up with a
that
shit
you
take.
love. It's a card full of people you love. A card full of people that were from the old era, so it's nostalgia. There's a lot of that. And 16 just didn't have that. There was a lot of new people, and some people you just don't like, so it doesn't matter what they do, you're going to shit on it. So the Red Sun Rising stuff did not have any of that. It was all fan service.
So the counter argument to that is, can you remember which pay-per-view I said I like better than Red Sun Rising?
No, and
exactly.
To Cass's point, I don't remember any event individually.
Well, there was one that I had
deeply
said,
drenched in vices. I don't remember anything.
I know, but there was one.
The latest pay-per-view was always the best.
There was one after that I said was
we're gonna
really
have a post-show
good.
pod for 2023 Consequence, and I'm gonna go. This was the greatest pay-per-view of all time because I don't remember anything.
You're a dick, Max. Are you done? Did you find your fucking your?
I can't listen to 40 people talk in my ear.
I'm glad. I'm glad. So yeah, you can post your thing in the Discord. Anyway,
yeah.
Thank you everybody for hanging us for an additional 3 hours and 29 fucking minutes. We almost hit the 2 hour and change mark, and then we fucking fell off the deep end. But hey, it'd be like that sometimes. So thank you so much for joining us for both nights, night number 1, night number 2. Thank you for dealing with us on our horse shit. We will join you next week not next week. We're off next week. We'll join you. Is it next week? Yeah.
2 weeks.
No, it's not 2 weeks. This week
it is connected next week because this week there's no show this week, but there's a show next week.
Yeah, there's a show next week.
Oh,
14th.
That's true. Yeah,
and which is gonna be right.
right.
So 14th we'll be back with Riot 606. Just a quick note.
No. July 21st we will be back.
July 21st.
Is it July 21st? You sure?
Yeah, July. There is no show July 14th. Correct.
Oh, there isn't. Okay, good.
Nothing this
2
weeks.
All right, fantastic.
July 21st.
Which
it is 2
officially
weeks.
marks a break.
So we'll be back July 21st. Okay, good. So yeah,
July 21st.
So July 21st we'll be back with Riot 606, and then on our road to Summerside. In the meantime, I'm sure stuff will pop up. But once again, thank you so much for joining us for our horse shit. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. This is Player versus Player, as you can tell by this 3-hour discussion, debate, or debacle, or fracas if you want to be nasty. We are adamantly passionate about what we do here. If you'd like to join, be sure to just check us out on YouTube or Twitch. You can get the information for how to join. But just know that if you join here, it's D&D for wrestling nerds, and nobody gives a fuck about what you do. You have to work for it. And if you can't work for it, no one cares. We don't care about your car. You got to make us care, and that's the bottom line, basically. So from myself, like Drago said, do the work. So from myself, Kassidy Hayes, Max Edwards, and the benevolent and loud Jake Allen, thank you so very much. We will see you on the 21st. We all need a goddamn break. Be sure to watch the shows and enjoy yourself. This is OCWFED. No one does it like we do, and if they do, they are full of shit and lying. That's a fact, Jack.
Cast 2023.
Dragana Cat. Fuck you. You know what? You was gonna be in the Hall of Fame, and then you ruined it. So you're not going to. Fuck you. You ain't going to Hall of Fame. Maybe I'll put Empress. You could shut up. That'd be great. Put her in before. There's 7 women going into the Hall of Fame now because of this shit. Call me a sexist, motherfuckers. See you next week. No, 21st. God damn it. Bye.
No, you can't.
What? I haven't hit stop yet. I'm tired of being painted as the villain.
You can't say, don't call me sexist. I'm going to put all these women in the Hall of Fame because you called me sexist. And go, oh, you know what?
No, it's funny because even prior to the fucking horse shit that she said, there was already like fucking 6 going in. Not 6, like 4.
Is there, you can't call me sexist. You called me sexist, and I put women in there because of it. What more do you want from me?
No, but prior to that, there was already 4, and there's like, oh shit, you could do 4, and that'd be funny. Like that like it's funny because like it should be 4, and then I was like, yeah, that'll fucking show them. And then the conversation happens like, God damn, I can't win. I can't win.
That comment was the Fed version of I can't be racist. I have black friends.
It really was. I fucked up. God damn it. Whatever. Anyway, we'll be back on the 20th. I hate this. I hate everything. I can't do nothing right.
Shit.
I can't do. This is bullshit. And Max, find that evidence you talk about me. Fuck you, Pat. Pat. Fuck you too. God, you know what? I hate this place.
Get him, Mad Dog.
God.
Hey, you don't want an atomic dog kick. You better end the stream.
I am gonna end the stream. I just been slandered for I was slandered for like an hour of this stupid stream. I hate this place. This place is stupid.